Hello, everybody. We are live. How are you doing?
I am blessed, Jay. How are you?
Good, good. I'm here with Krissica Harper. The first thing we have to do, guys, first of all, welcome, welcome, welcome. We're live in two places, and this is the very first time. This is your first time on the show, right?
It is. It is my first time on the show.
Okay. Well, we're going to tell you guys real quickly. YouTube says we're live. Let me check.
Mhm.
We are live on YouTube. And then you know what? For the first time ever, I'm all about trying new things. I know you are as well, because you're big on LinkedIn, right?
I am pretty big. I am.
Okay.
I
And
can't
we
believe you just said
are
I'm big on
officially,
LinkedIn.
listen at this. Let's see if we're live on LinkedIn. Do you want to check it?
Let's see.
It should be on my profile.
Yours, okay.
I don't see us on LinkedIn, but we're really excited.
Oh, it's up, Jay.
It is?
Yeah.
How come I can't see it?
I don't know, but I'll show it to you.
Okay, hold on. I got to flip screens. I got a bunch of screens up. What do you see?
I
Okay,
see you on here.
there we go. There we go. All right,
I
guys.
see myself.
First of all, welcome to Brand&Athlete. I'm Jay Hicks, founder and host of Brand&Athlete. Really excited here to have with me today Miss Krissica Harper, and just a tremendous, tremendous individual,
Mm.
founder of Court 31, a professional and personal development company for female athletes. And you're also host of the NIL in 60 Seconds. Welcome.
Thank you, Jay, so much for having me. I am blessed and honored. You are someone I have looked up to and to for many months at this point. And so it is an honor and a privilege to just sit with you in this space as we support our students and athletes and our families.
Yeah, and I'm really excited too. I mean, I love what you're doing. You're just a really talented content creator, and I really
Mm,
love people who are executors, right? Like
mm,
people who are creating content, who are out there on the platforms. Definitely, you got to give you a big shout out. You are
mm.
huge. You're a superstar, y'all. If you're not following her on
Oh.
LinkedIn, you guys are falling behind. So while you're here, make sure you pull up. How can people find you on LinkedIn?
Yes, Krissica Harper. Krissica Harper, Krissica, last name Harper, everywhere. But yes, on LinkedIn, I am there. As Jay said, he says I'm a pretty big deal. And we'll talk a little bit about not being invisible. And I
Right.
would even say I'm a big deal. I would say that I have learned from Jay. I have taken the steps to just be confident in telling my story and sharing what I believe the creator has called me to do. And we'll talk about how within you is your content.
Yeah.
And so I would say that that's how it has grown.
Yeah. And I'm excited. This is the first in a series that we're doing. First time ever on Brand Athlete. We're doing the NIL Crash series. How to
Oof.
survive and dominate in 2025, guys, because here's what's really happening. There's this massive shift going on. And I'm telling you right now, I'm telling you guys, it's like the stock market. It's crashing. Some people are going to be blown away. And what's happening is AI. It's rewriting the rules of attention, and brands are now scoring people. So we came up with
Mm,
this series to help people with a lot of the aspects of content creating, so they're not
mm,
acting like it's 2019. And then this one today,
mm,
it's called How to Stop Being Invisible to Brands
mm.
in the 2025 Content Playbook. And I have you here with me side by side so we can run through all of this.
Let's do it. I'm ready. Let's go. Y'all ready? I hope y'all are ready.
Yeah. And so if you're joining us tonight, guys, we have really big goals. We're going to help you guys stop being invisible this fall. We're going to give you some content systems, hacks, and really there's not going to be any fluff. We're getting straight to it. We're going to help you guys create a content gold mine that you guys can start doing effective immediately. And we have some giveaways, but talk to us about a little bit about your background, because I'm really excited because you're a content creator, you're working with young people. I guess as they say, you're in the trenches.
They say like we in the trenches, we in the grind. Are they saying grind anymore, Jay?
I don't
Did we
know.
say grind or did we say grind?
You're more cool than I am, so
Look,
I'm gonna defer to you on this. You're the point guard.
Well, we're in the trenches, and as he mentioned, I am a point guard, and so played basketball my entire life, and ended up having the opportunity to play collegiate basketball, so Division I and Division II. So I've definitely played at both levels. I've seen and experienced the different lifestyle and culture of both levels. And after basketball was over, I had that typical story, Jay, of not knowing what I was going to do
Yeah,
after undergrad. And so I spent 10 years at this point still on the journey of figuring out who Krissica was.
right.
And here I am
And
sitting
I
sitting
don't
in
even know if
this
that
seat.
ever stops, but go ahead, talk.
Right. Like, yeah, like does that ever stop, Jay? And I think even what you just said is at the core. Like this is a journey. And so I've spent the last 10 plus years really just going deeper and deeper into who the creator has called me to be. And now I sit here in front of you helping student athletes with the same thing I needed help with. I
Right.
needed a Jay, I needed a Krissica. And I am able now in my 10 plus years of being in education, now on the student athlete development side, working with professional athletes, finishing up my PhD, just really having now that passion to support student athletes in that uncovering of their purpose because it's there.
I love that. And I really love your passion. I love what you're doing. And, you have two former athletes here. Obviously, many of you guys know former D1 track athlete, Baylor
Mm.
University. Um, and I'm just excited, right? We have, right, Sikkim
Yes,
Bear.
take
She
a
knows about
voice.
254. And, also you former HBCU as well for you. So
Mhm,
just really excited in this series that we're talking about, guys. What we're working on is there's this massive opportunity, and I'm excited tonight because we're going to help people. We're going to help educate on the new economy that's happening in NIL for student athletes. We're going to show you guys how it's really about attention over followers. We're going to give you guys some tools, mindset, systems today so that we can save you from being invisible. That's the goal tonight.
that's the goal.
All right. So here's the thing. You're not too late, guys. You're not invisible for long. We can help you fix that. We can help you tonight. And so if you're just an athlete who's scrolling through highlight reels, wondering why brands don't see you, this is your moment. So, welcome to
Mm,
Brand&Athlete, brought to you by Hicks Sports and Entertainment. And you mentioned this. This is actually we're going on 11 months. We came up with this idea almost
wow.
a year ago. It was myself, good colleague and friend Keith Miller, who I've worked with for many, many years at Baylor. And so, he works on the compliance side. He's got like almost 3 decades.
Mhm,
So we were, and I worked at Baylor, worked at New York Rangers, of course, and worked in on the media side. And so it was always we were getting these questions. And we
mm,
saw this massive opportunity. And so one of the things that we decided to do was just to get started. And so as I know is you who, you have your company, of
mhm.
course. And then you're also a content creator. So I'm really
Yep.
excited to talk to you and get your idea. Before we get into talking about this identity crisis,
Mhm,
as you're working with student athletes, and this is
mhm.
this is a crazy time. Like I didn't grow
Yeah,
up
yeah.
with social media. I didn't grow up with it. What is the number one thing that you feel like is holding student athletes back from achieving whatever goals in front of them, whether it's content or just their
Right,
career life goals?
right. That's a great question, Jay. We're all talking about visibility in the new NIL era. Visibility, as you mentioned, to brands, to making sure they're paying more attention to attention versus follower count.
Right.
But what I'm seeing, Jay, is a deeper crisis a little bit, and that's the educator in me. That's the academia and learning support side of who I am, working with non-student athletes, but that I'm also seeing with student athletes. It's not that people or they don't know who they are. I think it's that they're still figuring out who they are.
Mm,
And I don't believe that that's a flaw. Like that's why we're here right now. We're supporting them in that journey. And I don't believe NIL caused this identity crisis. I don't think any of us really
sure.
believe that. It just put a spotlight on it. And I always speak to us as the big adults and the educators and the support staff. We told athletes, "Hey, you can get paid now. Go be a brand." But I believe we also have to slow down and also say, do you even know what your name really stands for?
Right.
What image do you want to reflect? What likeness do you even want to grow into? What legacy do you want to leave behind? And that's why I believe so many athletes feel overwhelmed or even underqualified, Jay, in
Mm,
this space.
mm.
Not because they don't have the talent, but because we also have to remind them and teach them to own themselves out loud. Because this content space, it's the out loud.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I would say, they're not invisible. They've been building a brand since the moment that they walked on campus. How they treat their teammates, how you show up in class, how you text your parents back, how you present your story. And NIL for us and for them isn't just about being marketable, it's about being memorable and being known for your mission.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. We're going to get into it today.
Yeah.
Guys, drop the fire emoji in the chat if you're ready to stop playing it small online, like Krissica just said. And here's what we're going to do. We have a special deal for you guys, the both of us, where I
Oh,
have developed a free 13-point content guide. Drop it in the comments. And what we want you
oh.
to do to go grab it and start building this fall is go to brand&athlete.com/13 plays. Guys, this is really big. I sat down and figured out 13 ways that you could come up
Mm,
with content so that you can be seen by brands in 2025. It covers how
mm,
often you should post, how to engage with your audience, and what does your community really care about. So that's
mm,
something that we have, and I know that people can get FaceTime with you.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So 13 points, Jay. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to. Can I get a coaching call, Jay? Can
Hey,
I work with you?
here's
Because
what I
that
want you to go to
right
brandandathlete.com
now,
forward slash 13 plays. Enter your email address, sign
let
up,
me
and it's you and I.
let me enter my email. Well, well, I also want to support our young people and our families, and so you are more than welcome. If you're saying, hey, Miss Krissica, hey, Miss Harper, I love what you were talking about, and I don't know where to start.
Yeah.
Contact me on LinkedIn if you have one, because we want to work on building that platform. But contact me on LinkedIn, DM me, say, Miss Harper, I'm ready to rock and roll. I was on the live with you and Mr. J. But if you
Yeah.
don't have a LinkedIn, you're more than welcome to email me, info@krissicaharper.com, and do the same thing. Hey, Miss Harper, love what you are sharing. Would love to take the next steps in building who I am. Okay. And so we're going to sit down and have an hour-long strategy call. If you got more than an hour, I am more than willing to support you on your journey. And we're just going to look at this holistically. What you're thinking, what's your mission, what's your vision, what's your values, who do you believe you're called to be in this world, how can we grow your confidence? And I'm going to walk through all of those things with you in that hour and a half long call to get you jump started in this NIL era. No matter your level, I don't care if you're at a junior college, Division 3, D1, D2, D55. We are here to support you.
I love it. You guys make sure you reach out LinkedIn, email, social media, pull up, and you guys can get a personal 1 hour coaching session. I'm telling you, it's going to
Mhm.
upgrade and elevate everything that you're doing. So
Uh,
we have to talk about it, right? Because
yeah.
one of the biggest things, and I'm so passionate about this right now, is the
Mhm.
invisibility crisis that a
Mm,
lot of people don't even know. It is blooming under the surface. And it's why so many athletes are missing NIL right now.
mm,
Constantly talking to parents, I'm talking to student athletes, and they
yeah.
feel like, Jay, I'm good on the court. I'm an All American. I'm all conference. I was All American in high school. And right, they're just getting there and they're not seeing the deals yet, right? They're looking
Mm,
on, they're looking at the Shadors last year. They're looking
mm,
at, people who got some big payouts last year, right?
mm,
And they're wondering why
mm,
they're not getting that. And guys, here's what's really happening. There is a major shift in social media. 3 to 5 years ago, social media was you share some content on your channels, right? You go
right,
do something, right? I'm sure you did this. You're
right.
on vacation to Miami, for example, right? I'm jelly looking at her. And that's what social was. It was you sharing your life, your food, the things
Right.
you're doing. Today, what's happened is TikTok completely changed everything with its AI-based algorithm. So now
Mm,
if you notice, It is all about the FYP. It brings your interest to you. I wouldn't
Mm,
even say we have social media anymore. I think we have an attention graph, right? And
mm,
so, what we need to do as a student athlete is understand how that works. A lot of people are consuming it, and it's just making the transformation so you're not posting like it's 2018.
mm,
Have you noticed the shift yourself? Because I know you're on TikTok. I
mm.
see your NILs in 60 seconds. What has been your change? Because right, we know, for
Right,
example, that's why TikTok is the greatest social media platform in terms of growth right now, followed by
right,
YouTube Shorts.
right. That was such a good point, Jay, because even in this moment, we're positioned and we are being positioned as some thought leaders in the space. TikTok, even for me, has been a learning curve,
Yeah.
actually, because
How so?
I am of that generation where, y'all, I was in high school when Facebook came out,
Yeah.
middle school with MySpace. We are fighting over MySpace. But when
Did you
Facebook,
customize your profile though?
every week,
Okay.
y'all,
That's how
every
a lot
week,
of people learn the code.
that's how you learn to code. Like that was the way. The hearts falling down. I know how to do that still to this day if there's an opportunity. But for me, TikTok, okay, there's so many different social media platforms. And because of that, it could be overwhelming.
Sure.
So, like, where do I post? I'm supposed to do long form on YouTube or short form in the shorts. And now, now TikTok has expanded, I believe, the amount of minutes that you can post. Like
Yeah.
things are changing every single day. So I think for me, Jay, what's changing is keeping up with the change. Or
Okay.
what's difficult for me is the keeping
Have
up
you
with.
noticed on your FYP the things that you like on TikTok, for
Mhm.
example? I'm not sure how much time, 'cause I know you're
Sure.
studious. You're probably not up
Right.
to 2 o'clock in the morning,
Right.
doing so many others. And you
Okay.
notice you like boats. Like I love. Everybody knows I love boats.
Yes.
I'm getting a lot of I get the kind of things I'm honestly getting are people talking about boat repairs, people
Wow.
showing the different lakes they've trailered their boat, they've gone around. Of course, I love
Wow.
motivational things, so I get those, and it serves it to me because right,
Mhm.
like the reason why I asked that is you remember back in the day, if you were an influencer, you're like Shaq or somebody who had 20 million followers, you created
Right.
content, and all
Right.
these people saw it. Now
Mm,
today, someone your neighbor, your niece, your nephew, your cousin, a friend, they could start an account today and literally go viral their first, second, third, and have as far a reach as Shaquille O'Neal. And that's the kind of attention graft we're talking about. So, because what happens is the
mhm,
algorithm takes your content and delivers it to the audience that
mm,
consumes and wants that content. So
mm,
so basically, if you look at your social media and you look at in this case TikTok, you're like, man, I don't like that. That's you. That's you.
mm,
The TikTok is a representation of what you've liked, how long you've put your finger over, how many of those
mm,
videos did you watch it a bunch of times. I mean, remember
mm,
that the app is getting all of this information about you. So when we're talking
right,
about the information graph, it's completely different than you putting a sandwich on Facebook in 2018 in Miami.
right. You're absolutely right. Has it been difficult for you, Jay, to keep up with everything? Is it
It,
difficult for you, or how do you keep up with
well,
the ever
here's the
changing
thing.
landscape of it?
I'm naturally curious. I am a curious person, and I'm someone who just loves what's next. I mean, when I first started, I was blogging. I remember
Mm,
blogging was big, and that's I was
Blogger, Blogspot,
would say.
Blogger, Blogspot.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I had all of them, man. I had all of them. I was a digital journalist. I was always
Oh
staying up.
wow,
Like when I was coming out of school, first, one of the first jobs intern worked to publish my first article, the Waco Trib. And yeah, 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 yeah. The old
Waco
one is like
Trend.
Magnolia now, but that's another
Yep,
story. Magnolia
yep.
headquarters.
Shout out
And
to Chip
so
and Joanna.
would you say?
Yes, shout out to Chip and Joanna. We love you.
Shout out to them. So I knew at the time because the newspaper was already dying. And what's
Yep.
happening with media? It's just like everything else. It's just like when I was a kid, the yellow pages were big. People
Mm,
literally name their companies 1, 2, 3 or ABC because that's how you appeared in the yellow pages back in the day. Remember, there was no internet until like the late
mm,
1990s. And so
mm,
what's happening is humankind just tastes the attention. It used to
Mhm.
be on Blogger, like you said,
Mhm.
on all the different. What was the other web page that you were talking about the other day?
Tumblr.
Tumblr, which I used to love.
Tumblr was a fave.
Yeah, remember
Tum
Vine videos, right?
Fine,
And so
fine.
for me, I'm generally curious about what's next because I don't look
Mm,
at it as much as a platform as it's just the medium that you're using to
so
communicate.
good. So good, Jay.
And it's
Can
just
I
going to keep changing.
can
So
I
I don't
can I
worry about
mm,
what's in front of me. I just try to stay on top of trends. That's how I
mm,
follow, people like you. And I'm like, man, she's running it up. You've got great content. You support other people. One of the reasons why I think you're in part growing is that you're
mm,
continually sharing value and amplifying the voices of others. I don't know if
gotcha.
that's your strategy, but that's what I've consumed.
Can and man, you said so much in that, Jay. Can I what you just said, I think there's already a lesson in that. I did not set out to have a particular strategy to grow the platform.
Okay.
I want to start from there because as a point guard, you mentioned that I'm a former point guard,
Yeah,
y'all. I am always looking for the best pass for us all to score.
sure.
So that is coming out in the way that I'm navigating this medium, as you said. And so if I know, hey, I got a homegirl over here that has an amazing management agency PR firm for student athletes, Dr. Joy, I am going to shout her out on the platform because I know my community can find out what she's up to.
I love that.
That is not, I think a part of strategy first starts with who you are as a person. And so, if as a person you're very selfish, your strategy is very selfish. If as a person you're a giver, your strategy will be represented in that. If you are as a person you value community, your strategy will be built in community.
Yeah.
And so
Mm,
what you just said, thank you so much for that. But as I'm breaking it down within myself, is okay, this strategy conversation, not everybody can talk to a wall like Jay. Not everybody can talk to a wall like Krissica. Now I love you, Jay, but we're talkers. We talk. But if you're not like that, that's okay. But who you are though can still produce
yeah.
high quality opportunities for yourself.
You just hit on a key point, and I was going to touch on it later, but I'm just going to talk
Oh,
about it
sorry.
now. You're
Yeah.
so right, and because I think your strategy of helping others is the biggest thing that's holding a lot of people back. A lot of
Yes.
people don't want to post because if it doesn't show them in the best light, they only
Yes.
want to show a highlight. They don't want to, they're just focused on what they get out of it. And I think
Mm,
the things when I see people growing like yourself,
mm,
other people that we talk about, friends of this show that we have, and people that we love in this
mm,
space, is that they're really genuinely concerned about
mm,
helping the community, as you just talked about, like
mm,
sharing Dr. Joy, I believe it was,
mm,
so
mhm,
that that person can help your community. And that's one of
mhm,
the biggest things, guys. It's a we have
mm.
to really learn to be a little bit less selfless, and that's hard in our culture because we've all been raised so much to say, hey, get the bag, uh,
Yeah.
you have to almost go back to the old 90s hip hop, you got to get yours, I
Yeah.
got to get mine. But
Yeah.
what happens is that when you start focusing on how to deliver value, then all of a sudden it gets a lot easier. If you're
Mhm,
looking to serve, like today, this session is how to help you guys stop being invisible. So
mhm,
today it's not how can I get more followers, how can I get more engagement. Today is storytelling and talking around saying, hey guys, if you have 10,000 followers and 43 likes, that ain't influence. That's a red
yeah,
flag.
yeah,
You have to build community. Are you solving problems? If you are a all-American gymnast, and we
mhm,
know there are millions and millions of people around the world, and definitely millions in the United States of gymnasts and athletes who are wondering how to be you.
mhm.
What is your workout routine? What does your nutrition look like? What are some things that you really learned along the way that you can share? So I
Mm,
think the basis of what you've described is why you're at nearly 20,000 or more on LinkedIn. So a
mhm,
lot of you guys need to go follow Kriska and follow what she's doing. If you until you
mm,
master it, just follow what we're doing.
mhm. That's so good. That's so good, Jay. Jay, I want to go back to You mentioned Vine, and I
Yeah,
wrote that down when you mentioned it because I want to go back to it. There are people from Vine, Jay, that I've followed from Vine to whatever platform
yeah,
they went to. And to me, that's that community building, that wherever this individual goes, because I resonate with who they are, their story, or they just seeped into my heart and in my mind and my
yeah,
emotions. So I'm saying wherever that person is going, because I have been a part of their story for
yeah,
so long, it's like I still want to be a part on whatever platform they go
yeah,
to. And so Jay, even for like wherever Brand Athlete goes, I'm
yeah.
going with Brand Athlete.
Yeah.
Wherever
We're gonna
Jay
ride
goes,
together.
Jay, I love LinkedIn, but if Jay like Krissica, we're going over here now. I'm like, okay, Jay. Like
I love that.
because I want to be a part of Hicks Sports and Entertainment because it has transformed me. And so understand, guys, that we are young ladies and young men and everyone, because we are teaching you techniques.
Yeah,
Be reminded that we're not teaching you to focus so much on the platform, but it's more about who you are and
right.
what you're sharing and allowing that to go wherever you are.
Yeah.
And so it reminded me of that when you mentioned
Oh
when you
yeah, I used
mentioned
to love
Vine.
Vine videos, and I
I
think
love
to your things, one of the biggest things is after people get started. I think what you were asking me about earlier is really
yes.
distribution, right? So
Mm-hmm.
once you and we're gonna talk next about content without
Mm-hmm.
burnout, how to do pillars, playbooks, posting. We're gonna get into all that. You're gonna talk about how to unlock campus resources. And then
Yeah.
after that, we'll talk about stacking content systems, templates, tactics. We're going to unpack all that. But
Yeah.
one of the big things, guys, is once you start creating content, the next thing is how do you take it? Like I'm old school. Like I think about it like hunting, right? Like if you think about
Okay.
like Native Americans, right? They would hunt and then they would take something and they would use
Mm-hmm.
every piece of it. And I think what
Mm-hmm.
you can think about from a content perspective, because I know we have some vegans on the line here with us. We can always be respectful. Is 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 what we're doing is how can we're going to talk about a system of how can you really take some time, create content, and then think about it in a distribution situation, right? And there's many tools out there. We're not going to recommend one. There's many
Mm-hmm.
that you can find, but I think the real thing is figuring out a system that doesn't burn you out, that tells your story, and then you distribute it, right? Because if you notice, we're on X, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube Shorts, right? And
Wow.
we're on all the different platforms. And so I think that's the game. So distribution is where it's at. We're even on Pinterest, right? And of course,
Wow.
have our own website. So that's what we're going to talk about. So I think one of the big things before we move on, we have to talk about a little bit more about this invisibility crisis, because
Mm-hmm.
what's really happening, you and I have been talking a lot about this, is
Mm-hmm.
there's scoring. The scoring is happening because brands, right? Think about this, guys. That which gets measured is what's important. If you
Mm-hmm.
work somewhere ever and people don't measure something, run because you're in the wrong job. And what's
Mm-hmm.
happening is if companies are spending millions and millions of dollars on influencer campaigns, I run them myself. People want an ROI. So they're going to have to measure it. And that's what they're doing. And I've been saying this for years that this was coming, because what company is going to sit and invest money in micro influencers and major influencers and campaigns and not say, okay, guys, do we get ticket sales? Do we get
Mm-hmm.
sales? Do we get leads? Do we get clicks? Do we get brand awareness? Like what those are the kind of metrics. So because of that, it's no longer just about follower count. What they can measure now, you can go, we had Jack Adler on. I keep telling you guys this. If you haven't seen that interview, Jack is just an OG. He's, I believe, under 30, Syracuse grad, started this great company, Out to Win. Shout out to Jack Adler. And he pitched this company. He went through, he got 7 no's on these pitch contests, and the eighth he got a yes. And what they do is they can give you a scorecard on guys. Matter of fact, everybody, let's just do this together. Go to Out to Win.
Okay.
And Out to Win is not a sponsor. I just like them because they work in a space, and it's easier if it's outtowin.io. If you go to their website, they have an athlete. I don't want to say their name, but they could tell you the total follower count. kind of where you are as an athlete. They can show your engagement rate. They can also analyze your audience. What's their age? What their gender? Where is this audience located? How
Mhm.
often are you posting? And what is so if I'm a company, I don't want to name a company, but if I'm a company, I can now dive deep, not just into you and what you're doing, but make sure that your audience is a fit for my audience profile. You guys
Mhm.
see how that's a game changer?
Mhm.
Just writing out checks. Yo, those days are
Wow.
gone. This is the crisis that I'm telling you guys about because
Wow.
now, and then schools are doing it. Just
Wow.
any question before I go on? Chris, what is that? What does that mean to you? What questions do you have? Because I
I
know I just be rattling it off. I get
woo.
passionate about it.
I mean, I am just blown away at what Out to Win is doing. And I am also grateful that you're in this space educating them on it because not a lot of people know
And do you see
what
all the brands? And I don't
I
want to
see.
use, if you guys go to the
Yes.
website, look at all those
Okay.
brands down there, major sports brands. Look at major universities on the scroll. I don't want to say anybody's name because we put it in the content and it seems like
Mhm.
a sponsored content, but it's not. I just happen to have Jack on the show and shout out to Jack because he came on the show to share. And that's what we talked about. Remember, we talked about helping other
Yes.
people. So look
Yes.
down there. Look at all those brands, guys. Schools are now. So if they have an NIL collective internally and they have to figure out how to distribute these funds, guys, what's
Mm.
really happening is institutional money's coming in. So what do I mean? There's going to be banks. There's going to be sovereign wealth funds. What are sovereign wealth funds are like? Notice how like the Live got bought by like the Saudi funds. Those are going to be numbers based analysts. People want return. So what's happening is they're using tools like this. This is an AI powered system, guys. And there's other people. Jack and Out to Win are definitely best in class. Guys, look at that. And then they put out graphics. Athletes can use it as well to rate themselves. Unparalleled discoverability. They have 250,000 athletes, guys. Do you see that down at the
Wow.
bottom? This is
Jay,
what we're.
can I share this too? What I'm just saying
Yep.
with what you're pointing out to us. This helps athletes understand what data means and how it's collected and what it can and cannot tell you.
Yeah.
You're able to ask much better questions and do your own brand analysis.
Right.
I think that is absolutely a game changer. And we always talk about with athletics being a transferable skill. Reading charts and dashboards with confidence is a skill.
Yeah.
Like, where
Facts.
else can you do this without, let's say, being in a meeting with Clutch Sports?
Yeah.
You don't have to go to Clutch Sports to actually start learning about the power of
Yeah.
this.
No, you're so right. If you guys click, and just show you guys, I'm gonna walk you through it because a lot of people don't know this. A lot of parents are home are like, wait, what are you talking about? And that's why
Mhm.
we're breaking it down. That's why we're helping you guys to not be invisible. So some of you guys getting a deal, this not getting deals. This is why. Because what's happening is you can see 4 brands. They click on the universities. Universities can track their NILs department's performance. So this idea of just giving people money is gone, guys. And in talent agencies, which is a lot of the agencies out there and the brands, most major brands employ an agency to help them spend their money the right way. So you're talking about the biggest brands in the world, even to ones locally to you, have an agency, guys. And the agencies have to use tools because if you give people money and you don't get an ROI, you won't have that client too long.
Mm. I wrote down 3 words, Jay: understand, interpret, and influence
Mm,
is what you're learning through this platform and what you're able to now do for yourself.
yeah.
Understand, interpret, and influence. And that is embedded in the story that you will begin to tell to organizations, to brands, to opportunities. I
Right.
mean, it's a transferable skill that can take you in any room. for the rest of your life, is to
Yeah.
be able to understand, interpret, and influence.
Yeah. And this is a great wake up call because I think one of the
Right.
things that I'm seeing is that a lot of athletes think it's just good enough to be good on the field. And
Mhm.
it's not, it's a new game, guys. If AI doesn't see you, you do not exist. So, what I
Mhm.
mean by that is you could go on an athlete's account and it's going to give them the post frequency. It'll say once every 30 days. So, all you guys not posting, but you say, but I got 40,000 um, followers, but you only
Mhm.
post once a month. Your
Mhm.
engagement is low compared to your peers. So, what we're going to unpack next is how do you guys build content without burnout and
Yeah.
establishing pillars? Because one of the things that AI does, Kriska, is that it helps people understand what content are you constantly talking about. Like I'm
Mm.
always talking about boating. You guys know I love boating outside of this. You guys know I love sports. I talk
Yeah.
about sports, and I love entertainment. So, you know, hopefully we'll start have a new vibe check coming with you with Kennedy.
Vibe check.
Kennedy, yeah, Kennedy Webb and Reagan Land. Shout out to the homies. We'll have some new shows coming up with it. We just get on there instead of calling our friends and talking about sports. I call them and we talk, and then I love getting their perspective as student athletes. And I'm like the old G, so I'm
Yeah.
like the old. So, but so before we move on, what's your biggest takeaway about this? How mesmerizing, because I think AI is changing so much of our lives and people are scared of it. And so instead of
Mhm.
being scared of it, guys, just adapt early and figure out how can I use this robot to help me?
Mm. What stands out, I mentioned the three words that came to mind, but also what's now coming to mind is we're in an era of data responsibility. We are no longer in a place to say we don't understand what data means.
Right.
And it's student athletes, it is forcing you all in a good way to look at numbers and look at quantitative as well as qualitative and putting those things together. So the
Mm,
numbers having a story behind it. No longer is it just the story from what AI is showing us. It's the story, but it's also the story connecting to what numbers say
mm,
as well. Okay. And so I think it's important for student athletes to understand that analytics is now also bridging technical
yeah.
with decision making. And this is an era where your maturity does come into play, but being mature with things that you didn't think you would have to be mature about. You didn't know that you had to be responsible to a community. You didn't know
Right.
that you had to hold space for a platform and what that may look like for you. You may have not known that. You thought it was just you post and you get $100,000 because you're
Right.
because you're good. As Jay always talks about, it's not just your talent. And so that's what speaks to me is that data
Yeah.
responsibility. It's bridging technology with decision making and then merging the qualitative with the quantitative, which is the numbers and the stories
Yeah.
together. And if you know how to do that, I believe you will be light years ahead of other people.
Yeah, I love that. That's a great point. I think you're right that we're in this new data era. It's AI
Yeah.
driven and just understanding
Yeah.
how it works and leaning
How
into
it
it.
works.
Yeah, I love that. And one of the big things that we talked about is how AI through because athletic departments right now, we know there's this big Wild West. A lot of this money is now
Yeah.
coming inside to athletic departments. The reason why this is so important, guys, is we can help you get a larger piece of the pie. Because what could theoretically happen? You could be the conference champion, you could be an All-American, and you could have a freshman come in with a larger audience and a more engaged audience and technically get more money.
Mm.
Right, because think about this, the school is paying in part outside of the big ones, basketball and football a little bit different, obviously, because those are the big
Mhm.
kind of the really just
Mhm.
ones that really make a lot of money along with women's basketball. And for many of the other sports, think about it, there's a budget now. Some of these
Mhm.
schools have 30, 40, $50 million that we're hearing for some of their
Mhm.
football teams. And
Yes.
understanding how do you get your piece of the pie? And one of
Mhm.
the things is really building a brand. Guys, here's one thing I want you guys to know. It doesn't matter what sport you play. It doesn't matter what school you go to. You could be NAIA, Division One, Two, Three, JUCO. You could be Power Five. You could be a
Mm,
walk-on. You could be a Texas A&M walk-on. Love
mm,
him. Shout out to him, by the way. And
right.
document your journey. And all of a sudden, you have as much leverage as a starter.
Mm,
That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. So let's get into how we do that. Before I go on, does that make sense?
absolutely, Jay.
Yeah. So but the reason why a lot of people, what I've learned is like everybody's like, we've been at this for like 2 decades. And people are like, oh, I don't get it. Social media is the worst thing ever. They tell you how terrible it is. And then you go out to lunch or dinner with them and you look over on their phone and they're on social media. The kids are on social media.
All right.
You know what I mean? Like, come on,
Right.
guys. So, one of the things that what we really need to talk about is how to create content without burning out. And one of the big
Mhm,
things are having what I call pillars. So think of
mhm,
like a large home that have columns on the front. And if you think about the columns on the front, those are the things that you can textually talk about consistently that are authentically you. So
mhm,
the three that I break them out are personal, which are just what are you naturally interested in? And talk about those things. For me, for example, I love space. So you guys can see over me, I've got the space guy, the true story of it. My dad was a nuclear missile Minuteman and used to shoot
mhm,
rockets in outer space and was a squadron commander before he went on to other things. And one of the
mhm,
things, so I grew up on these bases watching 16s take off from places like Scott Air Force Base and Whiteman Air Force Base. If you know. And so I
mhm.
grew up watching these guys. You'd be on the base, you'd see them. They're like superheroes, right?
Oh,
They're in their outfits and their aviators on and you see
yeah.
the launch. So I talk about it because that's generally something that I'm interested in. Another thing that I'm generally interested in is boating. I love boating and I talk about it. And then the other things are just my hobbies, which are sports and
Mhm,
entertainment. So I think you should giving you specifically an example. Let's say you are a fan of Stranger Things. Totally
mhm,
random. The shoes over my shoulder are a pair of Nike
mhm,
collabs. They're actually Nike times Stranger Things. They have 1984 on the back. And let's say you're a Stranger fans. You love Noah Schnapp and all those guys. So instead of maybe watching Stranger Things every night for 30 minutes, how about you start a podcast? Either
mhm,
you go on, talk about your favorite episodes as you're watching, unlocking some of the things that you're interested in, and talking about that. And you could do it with a teammate, you could do it with a friend, and create content around the things that you naturally
mhm,
do. Like this conversation, this actual
mhm,
piece, this whole thing of helping you guys to not be invisible to fans. I literally called up Kriska and said, yo, I've got this idea. I love what you're doing. I love the people you serve and these are the community I serve. Remember, I just talked about the collab. The big brands are doing this. Take what they're doing, right? It was Nike X Stranger Things. So this is JX Krissica Harper. And now we're going to take this. We're going to have outputs out of this. So we can write LinkedIn pieces. We could do carousels, quote graphics, videos out of this time that we're spending together. And we'll do this for an hour or so.
mm,
So that's how
mm.
you tell your story and just talk about what you already are doing. Don't go out here and be Real Housewives. We don't need
Jay,
you to be Charles Oakley. That show's a mess, by the way. How about that? Does that make sense? So, like, let's go to yours. Just personally, what are your hobbies? I know you're in school, but we're talking about personal. Your personal
right,
things that you're interested, and I mean things that give you joy. I don't, not
right,
necessarily even the more intellectual, because I know you probably have some fun things as well.
right, right. My one top is I'm a foodie, and you mentioned like the whole veganism thing. Like one of the things that I love is trying new vegan restaurants and new vegan meals.
Yeah.
And I have an Instagram page, and it's called Krissica's Bites.
Okay.
And I just share every time I go and find a new vegan restaurant. I just do a little video, share where I'm going, and I've been able to Now, I am not a food vlogger to a high level. I'm not getting
Sure.
paid to travel all over the world, but I've been able to receive a couple of opportunities to come to these particular restaurants, share what I'm eating, do
Yeah.
a testimonial, and receive a free meal. It's something I didn't pay for, but those are some of those first
Yeah.
steps. Hmm.
And that's
And so
great.
I just started an Instagram page. That was it.
That was it. And one of the
That was
guys, the
it.
things that I love that Kriska's doing is that's something she's passionate about. Yeah, I knew about it. Is integrate that into your content. Remember, we
Right.
talked about the three areas that people need to do. One is your personal. So for me, this year you're going to see more boating content. You're going to,
Wow.
more space travel content as we get this brand and athlete, to a place where we want it to be. And we also, one of the things that I love is sports and entertainment. I love chopping it up. Like for example, I love talking and debating. And so a lot of times what I'll do, I have a show called Vibe Check that I do, a Jay Hicks official. We
Hmm.
talk about the trending topics. I actually use AI. If you guys, I'm gonna give you guys something I love. It's called Break the Web. It is an
Okay.
AI based app that helps me find the top 100 stories. So then I utilize it. I call up just like I'm doing today, and we talk about things. Like I had one with Dejan Manning one time. Shout out to Dejan.
Mm.
Man, he's incredible. We've had some great viral moments. Like we talked about who would win, Usain Bolt or Deion Sanders in their prime, but in the
Wow.
40. That video did thousands and thousands of views across many platforms, right? Not just one. We posted it everywhere.
Wow.
We talked about the rap beef. So instead of me calling my friends, this is what literally would
Mm.
happen. I will call my friends and talk about these topics. Now I
Mm.
schedule a show, chop
Mm.
it up, put it out.
Wow. Has
So,
Jay, has it always been easy for you? Or what was it that changed for you that made you become a little more confident in exhibiting all of your creativity and your ideas?
well, here's what I think. I think a lot of it's sure. First of all, shout out to my parents. I think parenting is a lot of
Mm.
it, right? And so there's a two-part to it. One of them, I was just lucky. I have great parents who just allowed me to fail, like to try things. Because what you'll find sometimes is sometimes parents are so protective and they want kids to succeed at everything. But what happens is when you try different things, like I was literally in the Boy Scouts. So you talk about like I go camping now. If you guys follow me personally, like matter of fact, I'm planning a trip right now. We're gonna go,
Mm.
a bunch of us. We're going to a BLM, that's Bureau of Land Management, and we're gonna go camping. We're gonna have a boat, and we're gonna do it all together. Well, I grew up going into Boy Scouts, and I didn't go all the way to Eagle. I made it to life, but those are the
Mm.
things I learned to tie knots. Right, my school had a Boy
Wow.
Scout chapter, and so a lot of that was just trying different things. I learned to cook on a fire. We just literally, my mom's like, "See you bye." Well, I mean, go to summer camp for a week.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? And
Right.
so that's what I mean by
Oh,
trying different
wow.
things. So, but here's the thing, right? So a lot of that's developed in childhood. And
Mm.
if you didn't develop that, and my question would be, why haven't we? But that's another conversation. I
Mhm.
would say just be fearless. Like
Mm.
people really, I think a lot of people overestimate how much other people care about what you're doing.
Mm.
Most people are 95% focused on themselves,
Mm.
specifically successful people.
Yep.
If you're around high performers, they're locked into their life. So I say instead of consuming, create. And that's something I enjoy doing. Like one of the things I'm working on, we're actually my friend's boat. One of the things we have a couple of projects I work on, but I'll talk about the first one. We're moving it from a lake about 45 minutes here to where I live. And then one of the things we're gonna do some upgrade work to it, probably update the
Mhm.
speaker system to it, add some LEDs, and then I just got a product called Boat Juice. Okay, and because it has some like mildew on it because it got out in the rain. And one of the things I was reading the label on it, and I said, "Wait, it says if comes in contact with your skin, call the emergency department." I was like, "What?" So I called my friend who worked in the aviation industry. He's like, "Oh, you need PPE, so something we all know from COVID what that is." some for your nose, some for your eyes, and it's like wear gloves and long sleeves. So I'm going to
Okay.
document that. I'm going to start showing people like the knots that we use. Just like, hey,
Mm.
here's how you tie a boat up to the cleat,
Wow.
and just talk about my experience. Like I literally
Wow.
just started basic camping. We went to a place. Many of you guys have been in the military. I wasn't in, but my dad was. Fort Leonard Wood. That's southern Missouri. It's basic training for
Okay.
a lot of people. We went on our first. Like we literally rented like these things for military people. They were cheap back in the day, and then that was
Okay.
the first time, and
Back
I
in the
fell in
day.
love with it. So anyway, I'm on a tangent, but
That's
I think those are the things that I do. I've just learned to just have fun, enjoy
mm,
life,
that's
right?
good. Yep.
And
Let's start there. Start
yeah, just have
having
fun.
fun with it. Like, have fun.
But anyway, what are your thoughts? That's my experience. What are let maybe flip it a little bit for you. What have you found to be some of the more, I don't want to say challenges because you're a successful content creator, right? But we're just being authentic about our
Sure.
journey. What are some of the things you
Right.
have struggled with? And the reason why I'm saying this, guys, is
This is good.
if you have somebody who has 20,000 followers on LinkedIn, which would put you in the top 1% of LinkedIn followers for you guys that don't know,
Mhm.
right? And she's been able to do it and is on other platforms. We're just opening up about some of the struggles or challenges that we've had or working on now. What are some of those things for you?
Mhm. When I first started creating on LinkedIn specifically, because you have Facebook, you have Instagram, you have so there's different communities. So I was much more comfortable on Facebook because that's your auntie, my mama on there, my cousin. So
Mm.
you're just sharing like fun pictures. You're no pressure, no
Right.
pressure. But my professional persona and my personal, let's say home, down home persona, I did not know how to be authentic and also have a posture and a comportment of AKA pressure,
Okay.
of being educated, make sure I'm typing appropriately, make sure I'm speaking appropriately, just making sure all of my I's are dotted and T's are crossed. And so I didn't know necessarily how to position myself because my positioning is still Krissica. I
Right.
wanted to bring my whole self into it. So I'm still a African American woman from the South. My hair, I have me and Jay matching. Okay, so it's more pressure to think about all of the ways and all of the perspectives and ways that I wasn't, more
Sure.
than leaning into what I was. That was what I dealt with at the beginning of LinkedIn because I wanted to talk about what does it feel like being a Black woman in education. I didn't want to just say and type anything so it can just sound so perfect and so beautiful,
So
not
can I
ruffling.
ask a question? So
Yes,
I'm just trying to make sure I understand. So are you saying one of the
yes,
biggest struggles you had is like, how do I just show up as myself?
that's it.
Right. Is that what you're saying?
That's it. That's it.
Okay, so
This is
here's
on
why
LinkedIn.
I'm unpacking this is if Kriska, who has 20,000 plus followers, has that question, it is a normal question.
Absolutely.
And my answer,
Absolutely.
what's your answer? How did you like hit me with the solution? How did you just what happened? What turned the corner for you?
If I don't do it, who doesn't get help? That phrase. And I'm not even trying to make this sound just so like transformational of your heart, but it really was a heart posture.
Okay, what does that
And
mean?
and and then the heart posture being, if you love what you do and if you want to leave an impact and leave a legacy and really transform your life, this is not just about your life. This
Right.
is about how you impact other people. So my heart posture, and I want to bring in these things, even just me saying that, that
Yeah.
is unique. And that is me showing up as my full self. I talk about love. I talk about
Mhm.
the heart. I talk about emotions. I talk about service. Jay sees me type all the time about stewardship.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not sure if anyone, I'm sure they are, but I haven't connected with them yet. I will. I'm not sure if anyone else is talking about how do we steward this. That is unique to who I am.
Right.
And so What changed was, Krissica, if you don't, and if you're not honest in what you're dealing with as a woman of color in this space, there's another younger woman of color sitting there wondering, is there anyone that can speak to potentially what I'm going through? And I had to care not just about Krissica, but I also had to care about the message and the calling and the purpose that I had in me in order to show up confidently to
Okay.
support other people on their journey. That's Krissica.
Yeah. So
And
so
that's the change that
basically
came for
what
me.
you're saying, which is what I think one thing that we both shared and we've learned is just guys, just be your freaking self, man.
You're
Stop
whoever you are.
worrying about all these other people and just do you.
Yeah.
Just do you. Like I talk about, like, I don't know, people, they might think I'm crazy to talk about voting. I don't care. I just do me. It's on some of my social channels. I talk about my family,
Right.
which because I have social channels and I brand and athlete and Jay Hicks
Mm,
official. And I just show up like you said. And I think that's
mm,
some of you guys, I think part of this journey. And Kriska, you're talking about this early. Part of this journey is an inward process into really examining who you are
mm.
and showing that.
Yes.
And that brings us to my next point. My
Okay.
second pillar, and I love that, is
All right.
purpose. What is your
Mm,
purpose? You were just talking about that. For me, one of the
mm,
things that I hear from a lot of athletes that get a lot of calls and worked with thousands of athletes over my 2 decade plus career is really motivation and how people can show up. Because what I have learned is that from parenting, some people have come out of their homes without confidence outside of their sport. So
mm,
one of the things that we seek to do in my content is talk about these topics, help people understand how can I, because once you get out of your home, now it's on us to figure out how we show
mm,
up and how we develop and
mm.
how we move forward.
That's
And so
good.
that's why I always talk about just showing up as yourself. Just be who you are. And the
Mhm,
biggest strength of that is there's only one you,
mhm.
right? But if we try to be someone else, we can never be the best version of that. And I tell you guys all the time, you've got to learn to start loving yourself because you're with
Mhm.
you all the time.
All the time. 20, literally 24/7. You're with yourself. You are with you 24/7.
Yeah. So I think purpose. So like really quickly, like so I think take this content. So out of this piece today, Chris and I talk about purpose. We're talking about helping young people build legacy. Someone
Mhm.
coming into school today. Yeah, I don't care where you're coming from. You could come from the most humble means to the highest means and change your life in a matter of months. I'm talking about 6 months to a year of consistency. So talk
Yes.
about your journey, talk about your purpose and the
Mhm,
things that you have uniquely experienced and the things that you want to do, guys. So
mhm.
your two pillars, one is personal, the other one is purpose. So when we're talking about what are we talking about, those are two out of the three that you can consistently talk about in the pillars in the home of what is the framework. It's how I want you guys to visualize your content is literally the pillars that hold up the roof to your content, your story, your brand.
That's so good. That's so good. Thank you, Jay, for that. It reminds me of making it as simple as possible. You
Right.
talked about two specific purpose.
Yeah.
Purpose.
Purpose. What are you here to do? Who are
What
you
is
here to serve?
That's so good. Start
I
there.
just want to break it down. You and I know this, but I know, yeah, some people are like, oh, what does that mean? What are you here for?
What are you here for?
What do you know, a lot of times for some of you, especially our student athletes, it's really getting into whatever you believe in or whoever you believe in. And what are you here to do?
That's so
And
good,
I
man.
think, what is it that you would seek to accomplish as well? Those are the
Mm,
things that you could talk about on a consistent basis. So what are
mm.
some of those things for you?
Absolutely. What I can talk about on like every single day is helping young women
Okay.
be confident and have self-esteem. And knowing that that can be very difficult, especially in an era and in a society that every year there's a new body you should have, there's
Right.
a new type of hair you should have, et cetera, et cetera. Every year it changes. And so I can talk about that subject all the time, Jay. and how I have been blessed to come out of a season of having very low self-esteem and very
Sure.
low confidence. And so now, coming out of that, being able to still serve and have the opportunity to support other young women through that path is
Yeah.
something I can talk about every day, and something I now get to do every single day. And you were referring to, that purpose piece. I also believe what is beneficial, because that's where I needed to start, Jay, with what you're saying. And I didn't know what that was. And I had a mentor tell me, it's okay. Go find a problem and go help.
Mm. Say that
Go
again.
find a problem, because there's plenty of problems. There's there's plenty of problems and concerns
Yeah.
and people who need help. So if you're a student athlete and you don't know what to do first, if you have a local recreation center around you, go
Yeah.
volunteer with some children.
Yep.
If you have a nursing home, there are so many elders who don't ever get any visitors.
Right.
And you may be the first visitor they've had all month, all week, all year. So if you don't know what to do, there are people and opportunities and service opportunities to be a part of if you don't know where to start.
Love that. And I think you're so right. And speaking of purpose, like today, guys, we're
Mhm.
helping you guys get unstuck. One of the things you could do, grab the 13-point content PDF that I
Yes.
created. Go to brand&athlete.com/13 plays. Stop guessing. Have a plan. All right.
Have a plan.
That's one of the things that I do. Help people get structure. Like, Jay, I've got these ideas. Cool. I
Mhm.
got a whiteboard. I got a Google Calendar for you. You got
Right.
note screens. Let's go.
Absolutely.
One of the things for me, like I always say, shout out to my mom and dad. There's
Right.
just great people, and so one of the things I was kind of blessed with is just having people who allowed me to be the person I am. And so,
Mhm.
like on the show, I tell you guys, just be yourself. It like Kriska's herself, and that's why her content works. That's why people like you. That's why people connect with you. Um,
Mhm.
if you're crazy, if you're loud, if you're whatever it is,
Yeah.
or if you have different gear, show that.
Mhm.
So as we kind of talk about the three content pillars again, personal is the one. Those are the things you are naturally already doing. Document those things you're already doing. Second one is your purpose. What is your purpose? Who is it that you seek to serve? And what audience does that look like? Right.
Mhm.
And lastly, this is the third pillar on the house that holds up your content roof. And that's your play. That's
Mhm.
the easy part, right? So what we're going to do, I'm just going to show you really quickly how to bring this all home. So for a lot of you guys, first of all, and we're going to talk about next, we're going to talk about how to unlock campus resources. So it's going to be a really nice dovetail here. But on many of your campuses, you already have departments filming your practices, your photographs, develop relationships. And then one of the things you can do is I want you guys to take each of these three things. So the play one would be your practice. Like just break
Mhm.
your game down. If you're a tennis player, how do you hit off the back line? Right? How do you like to what is your ability to get to the net? If you are in track, what are you guys doing for your front end of your sprinting?
Mhm.
How do you guys, if you're a basketball player, what are some of the things, right, that you're doing? And what are the drills that you're already doing? So, what I want you to do is take 1 hour and go through your drills. 1 hour. So here's what's happening. You guys are like, oh, how do I do this? Because what happens is a lot of you guys are out here, and sure, you're at practice, but you're checking Snapchat, you check your Instagram,
Mhm.
you're over there at the cooler, you're talking to
Mhm.
Bay, you're talking to, whatever that you're interested. Nothing wrong with that, by the way. But what I'm saying is lock in for an hour. Don't check any
Wow.
messages and just go. And so if you go and spend 1 hour a week, I'm gonna show you guys how in 3 weeks you can change your life. One
Wow.
week, I just want you to spend 1 hour talking about and recording and like taking like a Sunday or a Saturday when you have 1 hour and just batch content and record the things that you're talking about. So
So
if
good.
it's the personal, it's the boating. And like, for example, I'm going on Saturday. I already know I'm going to do the cleat. I'm going to show us breaking down. I'm going to time lapse us and see how quickly we can get the boat get it broken down, or get the top taken off, gas, battery, food on. Let's go. All right. Week 2, talk about spend 1 hour. You can literally do this from anywhere at your home. For example, like Kriska has a great background that she's on right now. Just spend 1 hour and jot down purpose, who you want to serve, future
Mhm.
goals. What are some things that you've learned along the way that will add value to that community?
Mm.
Week 3, go out. Okay, these are 3 different weeks, and you're just banking this content. Then week 3, you go out for 1 hour of a practice and show us your drills.
So
What's
good.
your, what's your warm up? What's your mental? How do you reset mentally? Right? How do you take care of your body? Because if you're in college, you're done something that got you here. Share those things. All of a sudden, now if you do that for 3 weeks, you can now take Monday can be motivation, Wednesday can be behind the scenes, Friday's passion and hobby.
Mm.
I just gave you in 3 weeks, 3 content types every single
Wow.
week that are in your pillars. Let's
Wow.
go. Let's go.
Wow. Wow. And just start there. Like
If
that.
you do that, you're beating guys,
I'm telling
90%
you.
of the people. You got to beat it. Like, for example, if you make it to 20 podcasts, 90% of people quit before the 20th. We've made
Wow.
Brand&Athlete past 20, and that
Wow.
puts us in the top 10% of podcasts in the world already.
Wow.
Just show up three times, guys. Personal, purpose, play. Spend 3 weeks, get started this week. And then just
Wow.
to wrap it all up, Monday can be motivation, Wednesday behind the scenes, Friday is passion hobby. So if you look at Monday motivation, remember that came from your purpose.
3 days.
The behind the scenes was your practice that I just gave you the things you're already doing. And Friday
Already
is your
doing it.
passion or hobby, which is your purpose.
You're already doing it.
Document, document, document. Don't create.
You're already doing it. Y'all are already living what Jay is referring to. You're
Yeah.
already living it.
So
Now
if
you're
you
just
guys take the
documenting it.
3 things, so the purpose, of personal, and play, and you film those for 3 straight weeks, you will have more than enough content. Many of you guys are not stuck. You're just unstructured. So
So
get
good.
started today with a plan. Download the 13 plays, brandathlete.com/13 plays. It'll give you 13 ideas that go even further. And then what I want you to do is go follow Krissica Harper on LinkedIn or email her, and then go schedule a meeting. And what are you guys
Yeah.
going to cover in this meeting? Because if you take my content, this is why we're Jay Hicks X Krissica Harper.
Right.
You're going to schedule an appointment, and we're going to get into next how to unlock your resource. But before we get into that, what is it
Yeah.
that you could cover with somebody for an hour that will really help them level up, and as Beyonce say, upgrade you?
Absolutely, Jay. Well, first, when they download your PDF, okay, let's start from when they download it. The content that you're going to share with them, and this is the teacher in me, the educator in them, in me. When we are working with students, we can give them all the curriculum, and some of it can be self-directed. They can just follow it to a T. But then there are those things that people may not see
Right.
that we want to check the box on first. And what I mean by that is share with me what is difficult about you posting this, because
Mhm.
it is now a little simpler for me to have the phone in my face now. But at the beginning, it took me years to build up the confidence in things that people didn't know. They didn't know that the way that I looked, the way that I sounded, the way I enunciated my words, the way my life looked, and the way that I wanted it to be perceived to look. Like during this call, we're going to unpack some of that, and it's at your comfort level as well. It's at your comfort level. But we're going to unpack some of the reasons why you haven't and what's preventing you from doing it now. So we're going to start there. So those are those emotions and some of those mental barriers that maybe your parents don't know, or maybe your best friend doesn't know, or your NIL directors do not know. And so we're going to cover some of that first, and then we're going to go deeper into, okay, when you do post, why are you posting? Where do you want to go? What's your vision? Where do you want to go in the next 3, 6, 9 months? And so those are some of the things that we'll uncover
Mm.
first. The
And
foundation.
I love it. That's purpose. That's purpose driven, right? And I
Hmm.
think this is so helpful, which is one of the reasons why I reached out to Krissica to just really love and appreciate the content that you're putting out in the world, which is helping people find their voice, find their purpose, and getting on to that.
Hmm.
So if you guys download the 13 plays, brandathlete.com/13 plays, and then you schedule it, you're going to be ahead of 95% of the people out there,
Hmm.
right? So one of the things I want you to do is drop one emoji that represents your brand right now. Drop the puzzle piece if you're figuring it out. If you know, you know, and the bullseye, the one that's got like the red and white, and it looks like a little dart if you're locked in.
Uh-huh, the dart.
So I want to talk about this because I think one of the things that we talk about is getting people structured. That's a lot of this. It's
Mhm,
just like athletics, right? It's the difference between going out to a structured 1 hour practice versus, you don't know what you're working on or why you're working on. And I want to talk
mhm,
about how to unlock campus resources. This is your
mhm,
wheelhouse. I'm really excited. And how
mhm,
can people integrate that into their content strategy?
mhm, mhm. Well, as Jay said, and we talked about it a little bit on our Instagram. I'm on what they call the academic side of the house. Like, I was a former student athlete, but I'm on the other side of the campus where people say, Jay, that student athletes are never there. People are saying student athletes don't come to events that are happening on campus. Student athletes don't come to the career center. Student athletes don't come over to student affairs, and student athletes don't have time for campus orgs. Have you ever heard that, Jay?
I may or may not have heard it.
You may have you may have may
I
not
could
heard
have
that.
been,
You
maybe it
could
happened, possibly. We'll see.
we'll see. So y'all, I want to
No,
share with you
I've
all.
heard that before.
You've heard that. You heard that. I want to share, if you are taking notes, I hope you are. If you listen to the recording, if you haven't been taking notes, please take out notes now, because I definitely thought about some areas where I believe I can really break down why these particular areas are important for student athletes, despite what people say, despite you thinking that you don't have the time. I want to debunk that myth that you do have the time, but it is about your choices. So if you can, write down content equals choices on campus, if you
Mm.
can. And there are
Content
three areas that I
equals
believe. Go
choices on
ahead.
campus. Break that
Yes,
down for us.
content. Yeah, content equals choices on campus. It is built in into your campus experience, into your college experience. Content is built in into that. And so, number one, student affairs, y'all. Student affairs. Student affairs. This is the crew that plans events on campus. Those campus mixers, leadership trainings, open mic nights, panels, all the things that help shape your campus culture. Here's what I want you to catch here. When you walk into a room and when you walk into events that student affairs hosts, even just as an attendee, you are showing up as more than an athlete when you do that.
Right.
You're showing that you care about your community, that you engage, that you listen, that you lead. And here's the immediate action: take a photo, share a reflection, tag the organizers.
Yeah.
That's content that speaks
Good.
to your character at this point. And Jay always talks about, it is not just your stats on the court or on the field. Nike in general, or whatever brand at that level, or even the local pizza shop, they want to know, what am I putting my name next to when they think about you? And so when they see that you're involved on campus, even if it is going to one event per month, that's content that
Mm.
speaks to your character. Because remember, you're already living in content. You're already creating content by your relationships. I
Right.
know your brand by how you engage with your teammates. That's your brand.
Yeah.
Now we're just taking that and we're putting it into the atmosphere of the digital space. But
Mhm.
remember, you're already creating content. So that's number one, Jay. That's
Okay,
number
I love
one.
that one.
Students and
And
families,
some
student
people are
affairs.
already doing that, right? Like they're in a Divine Nine, they're in a Business
Right.
Freak organization.
Exactly. Exactly. They're already doing it. And so, how are you taking what you're already doing and then growing your platform, not just with
Mhm.
social media, but not just with posting, but in the way that your brand is represented on campus.
Right.
Because before there was Instagram and all the platforms, Jay, and I was a student athlete, and this is me talking from experience. I'm not telling you all, I say this all the time. I'm not telling you what I read in a book. I was a student athlete and hosting events on campus and campus radio. Now, was I busy? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I was able
Hashtag
to
doing
be
the
able
most.
to, as they say, doing the most, y'all. But and let's stop right there, Jay. If you want to be in this NIL era, it is doing the most.
Yeah.
It is doing the most.
But I will
And
say our system can
mhm.
help you from burning out
And
if
we
you
can help you from
play.
burning out, though. We can
Right.
help you from burning out.
If you follow me, just do what I'm doing. I'm gonna
Right.
keep you from being burned out. And of course,
Absolutely.
it's always like I'm like the brimstone and fire. If you need like someone to cry on their shoulder, call Krissica.
It's
If you're
me.
feeling down in the
We're
dumps,
not gonna
you
burn
need
out.
somebody to be like, okay, I need let's get some content. Call me.
And you know what? To your point, Jay, the doing the most part, I just felt something in me.
Yeah,
Let's reframe doing the most in this context.
sure,
You're not doing the most in terms of you are burning out, you're not keeping yourself healthy, you're not balanced, or you don't have a healthy, realistic perspective on your
sure.
life. You're getting the most
Yeah.
out of your college experience, not doing the
And
most.
I
You're
want to say
getting the
I
most.
say that kindly and lovingly because
I know you do.
one of the reasons why I think that what you're showing is I think there's so many opportunities on college campuses.
So
Um,
many.
but because I want to interrupt, but I think
No,
that's
this is good.
what you're talking about. And you don't have to
Mhm.
do it all. Just pick the ones that speak to you or
One.
try them out like a
Right.
smorgasbord. Like, all right,
Right.
you know.
Right. Because also y'all, you don't know what you don't know.
Mm,
So you don't know that the young lady or the young man in the Dungeons and Dragons club,
right.
you don't know that her cousin or her father or her aunt is the vice president of insert company. You don't know that.
Yeah.
And because remember your character and your intentionality around your time and you wanting to build a network and a community of people,
Okay.
you don't know what could happen from that.
I love that.
So
So you're saying
it
basically
mhm,
go to these different events,
absolutely
document, which
document,
into the system, our shared system, and
right,
document the experience, tag
document
some
the experience.
people, and you guys don't have to make it complicated. You're saying you could
You
take
don't.
photos. And here's the other thing, right? What you're saying is you don't even have to do it that night. Some of the time,
No.
I just want to say this because I think while we're talking, I think it's
Yes.
important to share. Is some people
Yes,
think
sir.
you have to stop right then and do it. Sometimes I
Right.
do
That's
it
good.
days later, and you don't have to
Right.
tell when the time was.
Mm,
See what I'm saying?
that's so good, Jay.
Like I have
That's
a
so
couple
good.
personal events. I have a birthday, my friend's 50th birthday, but the pictures aren't about the date. The picture is
Mhm.
about community, family.
Yes. So good. So good.
Go ahead.
And I've learned too, Jay, and with this student affairs piece, because I worked in student affairs. And so let me give you an inside scoop. Student affair, the dean of students, the vice president of student
Yeah.
affairs, or the student affairs coordinator, when they see a student athlete come in the room and show up and introduce themselves and talk to them, they will remember because they don't do it.
Yeah.
So I'm giving you an
You
inside
tag, like
scoop.
you said, they're more likely than not to amplify, meaning share, like, comment the content. Because think about it, guys. They also are in the business of putting these events on, and they want to show, like, hey, people showed up.
I'm here,
Somebody
and
from the
sometimes
gymnastics team came. The point guard, Krissica came.
exactly they came because there is a tale of two campuses sometimes, and I'm giving this game in this way. We're given this game. But as someone who works in higher ed,
Yeah.
when you show up in the room and it's 7 people and the vice president is in the room,
Yeah.
because you know the vice president and the vice president knows you, it doesn't take much time
Right.
for your name to be in rooms you're not in because you decided to go in one room.
I love that.
And so this is when you meet the executives on your campus, even at the director level, and I'll go like maybe assistant vice provost or assistant VP, you have scaled your name by that one person.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And
I love
so
it.
Jay is going to teach and is teaching the tech. I'm learning from him, the posting, like I have all these notes over here from what he said tonight. And what I then want to offer to you is that there are things on your campus that are scalable, and
Right.
those are your relationships that you have. So Jay, I would first say student affairs. Let me know if you want me to go to the second one, but I
Yeah.
would first
No,
say
you're running this. I'm sorry. I'm just asking.
no, this is good. I want to roll with it. And the second one I have here is career services.
Okay. Talk about
This one is slept on. We don't go over there to career services as student athletes. We're just depending on our coach to get us a job, our student athlete development professionals to get us a job. And we're hoping, and I love y'all, but we're hoping that because I played at this particular insert name, that's going to automatically get me in the door. That
So what
doesn't
you're
always
saying is
work.
the career services is an underutilized opportunity. It is a resource that they're actually the athletic department, if you're on scholarship, is paying tuition to the university, and that is supporting the career services. So this is
Absolutely.
something, whether you're on full scholarship or no scholarship, it's a resource that's available to you that you could leverage.
Absolutely. And it's like you said, resources full of tools that help you learn how to talk about yourself. Don't think of see, this is how we think of career services. Oh, they're going to help me format my resume.
Right.
That is one tool, one service
Which
that they have.
technically that's the easy part. They have AI for
That
that.
is that listen.
Yeah. Y'all know I'm
That
on the AI bandwagon.
right, like that even is about to change, right? If it hasn't already, I
Absolutely.
think
If it hasn't
it
already.
definitely has, right? And so being able to talk about yourself, your story, your future. Okay, resume help, that's storytelling, that's a
Yeah.
part of it. But guess what they also do? They do mock interviews.
Yeah.
Student athletes use this, what Jay has been talking about in setting up that camera and talking.
Yeah.
For those of us that are at that first level that are saying, okay, I'm like totally afraid of that. I'll post my food, but I'm not talking on camera. I'm talking to the student that may be a little nervous to do that. Guess what? Mock interviews, even if it's in front of that one career advisor, that's public speaking practice.
Yeah.
So, what I'm hoping that you get from this is a change of perspective.
Uh-huh.
Your career services, yeah, there are some times where it's just like, okay, what do I get out of this? What do I do here? I
Yeah.
don't really know who these people are. Okay, what I'm offering and what we're offering is just another angle on it. Guess what they also do? They do internship prep.
Okay.
Okay, they
Talk
they
about
do
that.
yeah, they do sort of this career exploration, internship exploration. Some of us are not already in internships or don't even or not even on the path to get an internship. That's okay. They will still help you prepare.
Right.
That is helping with direction. So even if you don't know, for example, what your major is, for those of us that may not know what their major is, or you don't even know what you want to do after you hang
Yeah.
up the jersey, as we say, walk into career service in August and
Yeah.
say, I know it's the beginning of the school year, but I'm thinking about my future.
I love that.
Brands, mentors, coaches, they want to work with people who are thinking beyond the scoreboard. Career services department can help you prepare for conversations as well as prepare you personally for your direction too.
I
So
love
that's
that.
career services number
I
two.
love it. And also too, just I'm just thinking while you're talking,
Mhm.
a lot of this
Mhm.
too, you could just document your journey of going through this, right?
Document it.
So, you could literally just pull out your camera. Hey guys, I'm about to go in. I'm meeting with a career services person. Do a 60-second video or less.
Yes. Yeah.
And to your point, some of you guys that don't want it, I want you guys to continue working on feeling comfortable talking into the camera.
Yes, absolutely. 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 Okay. Number 3, I have here campus orgs. Campus orgs, right?
Ooh, this is
I'm
good.
gonna okay, I'm not gonna talk long about this. I can get on my horse about this. I know, let me go ahead and talk about the elephant in the room. I know that your coach or coaches, they want to make sure that you have great time management.
Yep.
And when we talk about, like, I'm the student affairs girl. So when we start talking about campus organizations and campus clubs,
Yep.
coaches, if you're listening, don't get scared.
Right.
Student athletes. But it is about you don't have to hold an office in a campus org or a campus club. You don't
Right.
have to be the president, the VP, the secretary, or the
Right.
marketing person. But just being in the club and attending one meeting,
Yeah.
1 or 2 meetings for the month, it's a start. Okay. So whether it's like, I was a part of Black Student Union, Fellowship of Christian Athletes. I
Yeah.
wasn't a part of SGA, but I was a part of Student Events Committee, okay,
Right.
Pre-Law Society, Science Club, whatever your thing is. Guess what? That's you getting the practice on how to engage with community, because the same habits and the same principles used in campus clubs and orgs, those are the same habits and principles that it takes to actually cultivate online community.
Right. Right.
So, yes, we are teaching you how to show up online and doing those things. You need that. And guess what, y'all? We can start that on the college campus in person outside of the
Right.
digital space. Okay. And so, uh, also, Jay, you're shaping the way people understand who you are when you're
Right.
a part of campus clubs and orgs. So you may not really know who you are yet. Campus orgs and campus clubs helps you uncover more of yourself that basketball or football will not do,
Right. I
because
love
it's
that.
very focused on the sport. And so, like Jay always says, now after you come from the campus organization meeting
I
or
know
a
what you
club,
meant.
y'all know what I mean. No, no. After that, we can post about it, say
Yeah.
what you're learning, capture the process. It's those hallway moments, it's those study sessions, it's the things you do that nobody tells you to do that are transformational. But in this moment, we are telling you a little bit about what to do. So propping up that phone and say, yeah, I just got back from, I keep saying Dungeons and Dragons, because that's a club
It
that
is.
I just
It's big.
I love, and
It's
it's
huge.
cheese all the time.
Yeah, it's huge.
So hey, y'all, I just got back from the Pre-Law Society. I'm not sure what I want my major to be, y'all, but the event, the meeting, it was dope. We had a lot of fun. I learned some new things. Looking
Yep.
forward to the next meeting. That's it. It doesn't have to be long, but you're showing people, you're showing brands, you're showing your community
Yep.
who you are outside of the jersey. So I would
And
say
I like
those
that
3 areas,
too.
Jay.
I love that too, because you could also, I'm just thinking out loud here,
Mhm.
you could besides being involved with them, right? You can go support their events.
Support.
Most of them, if you follow your student activities department, they're
Yes.
amplifying the schedule. And
Mhm.
so and it's so funny because a lot of these groups are actually supporting athletics too. Like a lot of
Mm.
campuses have things like your football team may, for example, have like a deal in the student union where some of
Yep.
the football players or women's basketball players are out there on like a panel promoting it. They'll do pizza. It doesn't even have to be your sport. You could just go
Right.
out to these things and amplify and talk about the support and then support those student orgs, and that's content.
Wow. And Jay, can I also look? I'm asking for a picture. Can I be real? Can
Yeah,
I be real?
yeah,
When I talk to some student athletes get it. But when I talk to student athletes about turning their academic journey into content, sometimes they check out. But I understand, because they're
well,
like, ain't no
why do you think that is? I have an idea, but why do you think that is?
yeah, they're like, ain't nobody trying to post about tutoring. That's not what brands care about. But here's the thing: if you don't care about it, you're already behind. Because here's why: you're trying to build a brand, you're trying to be seen, trying to get deals, all the things, right? But you're ignoring the one thing that proves you got discipline, leadership, and follow through. every single week.
Yeah. And
Your academics,
I
your
would
life.
take it even further. I think too many people are worried about what their gram looks like to other people,
Yeah.
and they're not being their authentic selves. Like they're putting out an image. And I
Mm,
think, guys, in 2025, if you look at, we won't get into politics. We're talking about the
of course.
media politics. Look at how the game was changed.
Mhm.
Politicians who went on long form podcasts like this
They sure
got
did.
huge exposure where people could go in the comments. People don't want that filtered look, because if you look at entertainment, people like, oh my goodness, the person who we thought for 40 years as an artist is one way, but we're finding out it was a highly curated and manicured image that isn't real. So some of you guys need to stop trying to be manicured and just be real,
Right.
document it, and that's going to be the best version of yourself.
Wow. And like you mentioned, you think, okay, sometimes a part of it, yes, but we think that brands only want to see the game day tunnel walk. Brands also
And
want
their
to know.
inner friends. Here's the
And
part I'm a little bit different on. I think a lot of people are scared about what their friends and teammates. And here's the thing: some of you guys
it's
are
more of that probably because I've been
those,
there.
those people aren't really your community.
No.
So if you're a female volleyball player at,
Yeah.
let's take Reagan Land, shout out to Reagan Lands, Miami, Ohio.
All
I
right
think
again.
they're training camp now.
All right again.
Her audience is definitely some of her teammates and other women she's played with, but her biggest audience are young girls and young boys
Mhm.
who want to be D1 athletes who look up
Yeah.
to her. She's a Texas high school All-American volleyball player who want to be like her.
Right.
That's
Right.
right. And that's who an
Right.
advertiser or a brand would really want to lean into anyway. Matter of fact, she has type
Right.
1 diabetes. She's
Yes.
documented. And this is what I mean about not being scared, because she even talked about it and continues to talk about it. She has a company. I won't say the name, go to her page. And she talked about it. And now she has a deal, and is one of the handful of athletes in America with a deal with a company that has products to help athletes manage their blood sugar levels. How did that
Mm,
happen? Because she's being
wow.
real. Some of you guys are scared of the very thing that makes you unique, that makes you a human
Right.
being, that connects you to other people.
Right. And
I went to
and
Baylor and it's BU, but I really mean BU.
be both on both sides.
BEYOU. I guess Drake would call it a double entendre. He does triples. I don't have a triple, but I feel like I can.
And I had some questions here that
And
I
he did
have
have
that
one.
I
He did have a triple entendre. I just want to tell you, I'm not a big Drake
triple
fan. He
entendre.
did one had, and what did I miss? But we're not going to get on that tonight.
Right. And I want to share this, Jay, for the student athletes who are listening and will listening. I looked back, and even though I was very engaged in campus activities, options, opportunities, all the things, I was that person. But sometimes I have looked back and was like, man, I was building something the whole time, but I never documented it.
Yeah. That's
And social media was out a little bit. Like I was aware of brand building when I was in college. Brand building was a thing when I was in college. And even now, as I sit here and speak, it's I'm looking back on so many opportunities where I'm
yeah.
like, I knew to do it. I
And so
knew to
some,
do
some of
it.
our athletes, you're worried they're using some of the, again, and I just like to keep it real. And some of you guys are
Yes.
worried about what, uh, because a lot of times people are using social media for dating. Let's just talk about
Mhm.
the elephant
That's
in the
true.
room. So
That's true.
what happens is, guys, again, I think you're better off being yourself
Yeah.
than worry about. That's why, if you'll notice, some of the top athletes barely post.
Mm,
Right?
they do.
It's because of the fear of
You're right.
failure.
You're right.
And
You're right.
I say fail early, fail fast, learn,
Mm,
adapt, and then keep going.
mm.
You're
Issa
not going to
Rae.
find, like when I was a kid, my mom was a teacher. You talk about where I live.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yes.
She
Yes.
encouraged me to read all the time. Right. And she
Mm.
had this thing in the summer times, like it's right now, it's summertime. And my mom would be off and she was like you. She's always getting a degree, always doing the money.
What's getting a
Yeah,
degree?
you're working on your PhD. My mother is like a master's plus 30. And so one of the things that she do is that, like, they had this half price bookstore near our home, and she was like, I mean, you know how it is. Like, I was always asking for everything, that bike, these shoes, and I wouldn't always get it. But my mom was always like, whatever book I asked for, I always got.
Mm,
And if you guys go, and then that was a different era. We have TikTok now where we can learn
yeah.
people's stories and their journeys and consume
Yes.
it much quicker and faster. You're
Yes.
not gonna find a successful person who hasn't failed and failed hard. Name one.
Mm,
You
name
cannot
one.
name one.
No.
If you actually learn their story,
Right.
not
Right.
just the curated, like everybody's like, oh, they're overnight success. And then when you go talk to
Right.
them, some of these people like Drewski and other people, they were out working 2 or 3 jobs and they were setting up skit locations and asking a cousin, like, hey, can I use your apartment this weekend for this skit? Right. Like, how do you think he knows all of the skits? Like I'm gonna use Drewski because I love him. He's great.
Good.
He has a skit for everyone. This is what I mean about knowing your audience. He has a skit on the work husband girlfriend in like working at like FedEx UPS, right? And everybody who's worked those jobs, if you go to the video, they're dying like, yo, this is it. And then he has all these different topics. If you go to every video, people say Drewski's everywhere but home. Why?
Yeah, that's true.
Everywhere but home. Because he's creating content for the different audiences he has. And I just try to use him because I think he's someone that's relatable. And a lot of his early skits were shot on his phone. You guys don't
Mm,
need more than a phone. I have a fancy light, don't need it. Right? Kriska's on a fancy microphone, don't need it. So am I. You don't need it. Most of the big stars social media started out with their phone. And I just try to get back to what's real, what's stopping people. And I would say for NIL, I just want you guys hopefully to be visible and to not sleep on this massive opportunity. This can change
right.
some of your lives. And to your point, Kriska, and I'm gonna let you get back because I get on tangents.
No, that's good.
The academic part, don't sleep on, she's talking about, because you only have one time to be an undergraduate student. You can always go back, you can get a master's, PhD, that's awesome. But it's not the undergrad experience. So I'll give you a quick example. I have somebody that a friend of mine who I've known for 20 plus years in business said, hey, I've got this young PR person. Would you take a call? I have this thing. I
Mhm.
get back. I literally allot a certain amount of time just to take calls from people in this business. So we do a call, and I said, you know what? She told me their story. What are you doing? Wrote it down. She emailed me. I would go experience every traditional master's program. Go on the website, learn the school tradition, and go do.
So good.
If your school has like a slide, the athletic department, or they got this walk, or like I went to Baylor and Dr. Pepper is found there in Waco, and
Yes.
they have the Dr. Pepper hour. Go to the Dr. Pepper hour. Take
Yes.
your phone. Go ask people. Hey, Kriska, how often do you come? How would you rate it? Like, this is content, y'all. Just
Mm,
be in. I always say this: be where your feet are.
mm,
So many people are worried about 10 years from now, next week, next month. Be where your feet are
right.
and make the most of that opportunity.
Absolutely. Jay, can I also say something for the student athletes, because we are talking to you all, but anybody that's listening. You are a student athlete, but that doesn't make you above introducing yourself to somebody.
Yeah.
They don't always have to come to you. You can go to them first. I want to bring that up because oftentimes we believe that because we're the sage on the stage or we're the
Yeah.
athlete, they come to our table. You come get my autograph. I
Right.
don't come to you. And I think a lot of student athletes are not introducing themselves to people because we're so busy. And I'm gonna say we're one team, one sound, y'all. We love
Yeah.
you. A lot of y'all are chasing brands who don't know you yet when there are people on your campus who already believe in the school. They love the program. They love watching you. They would go out of their way to support you
Yeah.
if they knew that you cared,
Right.
that they care about that and that they care about you. So, student athletes, y'all are walking past opportunities every single day.
Yeah.
because not one, you may be afraid to say, hi, I'm Krissica Harper. I'm the point guard on the women's basketball team. My major is pre-law, insert the rest. That's not begging anybody. That's
Yeah.
building. That's not begging. You're not less than. You're not like, I ain't got no brand deal, so Miss Harper telling me to go shake hands with the president because I don't have a brand deal.
Well,
No,
and here's the other thing I think that kind of things
relationships.
that I think are so easy for people. What are the
Mhm.
magical things in your life? And I can say someone who's been, I was fortunate, I ran track at Baylor University. Well, had this magical moment. We were one of the top training camps in the world at the time. And one of the things I really look back that binds me and binds most people to their universities is it's just this magical time in your life. And it doesn't matter if you're in junior college or where
Right,
you are, because you have an affinity. Each of you
right,
and the staff who work there are electing to be there. So
right,
take advantage of it. So for many of you guys can go out and do what they call man on the street, which is when you just go ask people questions on your campus. And this is why I say you have to be a little fearless. Just go ask
right.
questions to people. Go ask everybody 10 questions. I mean, like 10 people the
Mhm.
same question,
So
and then
good,
edit them together,
so
right?
good,
Just regular people on your campus on the topics relative to where you are.
so good.
That's why I tell
Mhm.
people, so many people are focused on like, oh, well, there's this gymnast at LSU, which has a great cheer and dance program. Oh, look
Right,
at it. She has 40,000. How does she
right,
do it? No. How can you be the best version of you?
right.
You can't be another Drewski. You can't be another Theo Vaughn, but you could be another Kriska. You could be another Jay,
Mhm.
and by adding value. So I
Right.
think one of the things you asked me about earlier was just
Mhm.
always just being curious about people, about their experience, and asking questions and turning that into
Mhm.
content.
So good.
So that's when the thing that helps you guys is like if you just make it on you to create content, it's a heavy lift. But you can amplify other people like you do, Kriska, and then you can engage other people because here's the reason why I'm saying this. How many times in your life are you going to be on a campus or in a confined 400-acre area for many universities with
Mm,
people with shared experiences that you could literally go interview?
mm.
Just
Where,
saying.
when,
There's people in West Texas, there's people in Montana, there's people in Southern Missouri that wish they had that kind of a community around them. South
and this,
America, by the way.
you're so right. And this may be, an extreme example. People may say, "Oh, you're being extreme," but Mark Zuckerberg was walking around a campus, and he had a couple guys, right, who he connected with, and
Yeah,
here we are today. Now, did that take
yeah,
work? Absolutely. Did that take faith? Absolutely. Was there long nights and all the? Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
Confidence, all the things. But you may be walking past someone not to talk to them because, oh, Ms. Harper, Jay, they said that's the next Mark Zuckerberg, so let me try to get on. No, but you may be walking past someone where this individual, their purpose and what they're called to and their vision and their skill sets can help you and you can help them.
right.
And y'all are stronger together, but you're not introducing yourself. You won't talk to anyone.
Yeah,
You won't, as Jay said, you're not curious about other people. And
yeah.
so how do we steward a brand deal and we don't steward the person in our class?
Mm, yeah,
How do
I
we,
love that.
because you think that because the money is going to come, you're going to steward it well. You're going to be responsible. You're going to create these amazing posts and you're going to do all these things and manage this in a way when there's some things that you're not managing right now.
Right.
And so you
Start
think
where you are.
money changes you.
Yeah,
No, money doesn't change you into a better person. It amplifies what you already are right now.
yep,
And so by learning the systems and the techniques that we're sharing with you about not just going big but going deep, that will help you get to the next level and not be visible to brands because you're already becoming what the brand is looking for.
yeah. I love that. And so helping people not be invisible. Was there a third point? Because I'm a big,
Yeah,
I am the best and the greatest in the history of attracting people. Was there, what is, yeah, I think was that a third one?
that was the that was there was a fourth point, but I'll hone it into don't look up, look to the side of you in networking and building. Issa Rae talks about that. You're always looking for the executive at Hollywood.
Right.
There's some peers that you all can work with and that you could work with, just like Drewski, and y'all can grow together.
Yeah.
That's the
And I love
podcast.
that because it's just contextual to what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Find somebody. If you have 1,500 followers, go find somebody who has 1,500 or less, and they're more
Mm-hmm.
likely to want to work with you. Somebody with 40,000
Absolutely.
might be like, I don't know.
Yeah, right.
I don't know about that. So contextual to what you're talking about. I love what you're talking about. Find people at your same level. And that's whether you're talking about brand deals. It's so much easier to walk into the smoothie place owned by somebody who lives in your zip code or area code, who's
Right,
probably some of the students are their clients. They may
right,
have a sponsorship with your marketing department, and they're a
right,
vested interest in their community versus a national one. So to
right.
your point that I love, really focus on the local market around you.
Yes, local market. And I want to give a challenge, Jay, to the student athletes that
Uh-oh,
are listening.
uh-oh.
As soon as you get to campus, email the president's executive assistant and see if you can get a 15-minute meeting with the president.
They'll take it every day and twice on Sunday.
Yeah,
I love it.
15 minutes, just 15. Say, here's who I am. I'm Krissica Harper. I'm the point guard of the women's basketball program. Because not only is your .edu powerful, your position on that team is powerful.
Oh yeah. And
It
many
is.
of the presidents, when you guys are going, just because they keep a crazy
They love
schedule,
you,
but
right?
they try to hit the big games, maybe your
They try,
tournament if you
yeah.
make the NCAA. So a lot of these folks are your fans anyway.
Anyway,
Yeah.
that's an arm of the institution. It's a fundraising arm of the
Yeah.
institution. They care about that particular arm. And so utilize that, you all. And if it's not the president, okay, go vice president, go dean of your college, go vice provost. I want to give you all a challenge. Email the secretary or the executive assistant of that office, and you want to meet with that person because you want to think long term. This individual is someone that is a leader, they know strategy. I'm sure they care about the athletic department. That may not necessarily be what they have direct oversight on,
Right.
but this will put you in a position that is very similar to sitting across the table from Nike. You want to position yourself as a student athlete who cares more than just about their sport, as we always preach to y'all about. I know y'all are probably tired of hearing that, but we're reminding you because that meeting could turn into a 40, 50-year relationship
Yeah.
that transforms your life
I
for
love
the
that.
long haul, for the long
I love
haul.
that. No, I love it. You have uh, three great tips on how to leverage your campus ones. Run us through, just hit us top line with you for the three things that you think that athletes can do today to create content and to also make sure they're not invisible to brands.
Okay. Go to school's about to start. And so there's going to be some student affairs, some student events calendars that are about to come out, or the week of welcome. Go to 1 week of welcome event when school starts. Schedule the first meeting with career services. Okay. And number three, look on your campus website. Again, when we have our one-on-one strategy call, I can walk you through all of this. So you don't have to be alone on this process. Number three, look at your campus website and just scroll and search. You can literally search on the website campus organizations or campus clubs. Find a club that just makes you go, You
Okay.
may not don't know, but it just makes you, If it makes you go, I wonder what that's about. Go to that one. Reach out to the email of the individual that is listed under that club.
Okay.
Okay. And then number four, you are already creating content every single day. The question is, what type of content is it?
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. All right. So for you guys at home, make sure you sign up for a 1 hour coaching session. Just follow Krissica Harper on LinkedIn or email her. You can go to her socials or DM her, right? Slide in,
Yes.
and you guys can do a 1 hour coaching session. And she can break down a customizable plan
Mhm.
for you to help you with your purpose and how to leverage your campus resources.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, you guys are sitting on content gold. And if you haven't asked for the key yet, it's just right around the corner.
Mm.
So I love that session. We're going to hit on a couple things. We're going to quickly breeze through stacking content systems, templates, and tactics. This is
Oof.
my wheelhouse. This is the place that I love. The biggest thing is batch, don't burn. One
Mm.
shoot should equal 7 posts, and one conversation should equal 10 clips of content to keep your channels full.
So good.
And that's what we're
So
doing
good.
tonight, right? This conversation, we're going to take this. We're going to have a LinkedIn article out of it. I'm going to come up with some key ideas. I love writing. It's a place where I can
Yes.
still write. And I'm going to have a piece that I really talk about that I walk away from. And then we're going to have some quote graphics, right? And
Mhm.
Krissica can go and take YouTube, for example, what it's done has
Yeah.
a transcript. And you could take it, you
Mhm.
can take AI and scan it and say, what are some things that we can pull out of here, guys? Because we're all about
Yeah.
AI. And so
Mhm.
those are the things that you can do so that if you're spending 1 hour a week, you should be able to walk away with 7 pieces of content, or you could have one conversation that equal 10 clips. And what we're going to do, remember, guys, building on our system, the things that you're going to talk about are your personal interests that you're already doing, your hobbies. You're going to talk about your purpose, who you want to serve, your dreams, your goals, your aspirations. And lastly, if you document, and this is really great for the off season, your play, right? So those are the things that you can talk about. So we're going to dig into some of the specific tools that you guys can use. One of the big things that I highly recommend is use what's already available to you. I would
Mm.
use Google Sheets. I would just start there. And remember, we talked about you could have Monday motivation, you could have, your Wednesday and your Friday content, right? Wednesday could be
Mm.
behind the scenes, Friday's passion play. So what you can do is just spend an hour. You could do this while you're on your couch on your phone.
Mhm.
This is what I do. And plug in when you spend that hour, right? If you have an hour of play, that's literally 7 weeks of your Fridays, for example, content
Mm.
right there. And if
Mm.
you do an hour of your purpose, that's 7 Wednesdays of content. Your Monday
Mm.
motivation, your personal, you spend an hour, that's 7. So you almost have 2 months of content right there, three
Mm.
times per week. And that's just in your content pillars. That's not just a random thing happening. So I
Yeah.
would highly recommend you guys using that. Use tools like Canva, which is free. There's a premium version. Matter of fact, I used to use Adobe. Full disclosure. I used to use Photoshop, the greatest editing tool. Especially if you're on an agency and you want to take one piece of content and turn it into, in athletics, we'll make ribbon boards, video content, social media graphics. You'll create print graphics to go to the local paper. We do digital billboards, right, for the New York subways. Well, I'm not doing
Mhm.
all that. You're not doing all that. But
Wow.
could you use Canva? And you could upgrade for around a cup of coffee a month to premium so you can resize it.
So
And
good.
then Google Sheets, which is free and it's already connected. Many of you already have a Gmail account. So here's what
Mhm.
I'm trying to tell you guys. You don't need a team. You need systems and processes to
Yeah.
build an incredible brand. You could do that in what I call the 1 hour content routine, because I
Mm.
say that content is like protein. It only works when it's consistent.
Mm. So good. So good. Whew. It
So
only works when it's consistent.
what are some free tools that you're utilizing, or how do you keep up with what you're doing?
Yes, definitely calendar. I'm as they say, like I guess old school because you have your planner. That's what some of my students are like. Miss Harper, you're old school. I'm using my phone. I don't use my plan. I use a physical planner that keeps up with all of my content
Perfect.
because I do teach. I do work full time. I am in a PhD program. The way that Jay is explaining to you guys, I do the same thing. So on Sundays, I create all of my content for the week.
I love it.
And so that's on all platforms. And with the one-on-one strategy call, Jay, let me know when you want me to go a little bit deeper into that. But we are talking about so many amazing opportunities and with the understanding that you all still have 12 to 15 hours of courses to take every
Yeah.
semester. And
But
so
I just want to remind you
yeah,
that is true. But some of
that
y'all are up to 3 o'clock in the morning on TikTok.
on the game.
I'm just saying, some of y'all are spending time, and there's nothing wrong with gaming. It's a great, but you
Yeah,
can be
right,
creating content. For example, you can get a little
right,
capture card, and all of a sudden,
right.
for example, Travis Hunter, he spent a whole bunch of time just gaming with people, doing something he's already doing. He documented his relationship. He's now married. Remember, he had his own
That's
podcast.
true. That's
Flo
true.
J. There's so many people that are doing this already.
You're right. You're right. So
So,
we,
so reason why is I always tell people there's opportunities, but if you look for excuses, always those two.
hey, we need that. We need Jay, tell him. Y'all hear Mr. J? I'm a teacher, so I always have to say like Mr. and Miss. Mr. J is telling you guys what to really make sure you're thinking about as you think about your time. And so for me, I would say just the number one tool. I'll make it simple. Have a planner, plan things
Yeah.
out. It's
Yep.
not just some phrase that you hear your teachers or professors keep telling you. That's literally how I manage everything. And another free tool is not overextending yourself just because you see other people doing it. Stick to what you do. So my thing is, I'm on this podcast right now, but my thing is writing. Yes, I do create some videos, but my thing is my LinkedIn newsletter,
Yeah.
me posting what I'm thinking,
100%.
and then getting in the comments and actually talking to the people.
Yeah.
And yes, I have the 20,000 plus on LinkedIn, but I don't have as many on other platforms. And I would say, Jay, I'll focus on the phrase of 100 true fans. I focus going deeper into relationships, and those relationships have converted into paid opportunities.
So on systems, you use
Hmm.
a calendar,
A
LinkedIn
calendar.
app on is or do you use the app or online or that which is
I use
free?
my phone. That's good. Phone calendar and a physical planner and
Okay.
calendar.
And
And so I,
what other things you using?
yeah, honestly, I schedule my post every week, and that's what I focus on. But if you're
Do you
talking
do
about
it
like tech
natively
things,
in the apps or do you do like a social media management tool like later or
so
you
I go into the app and I do schedule later, and I do the posts. So, for example, I focus a lot on LinkedIn. That is where my audience is. That is who I'm speaking to. I'm speaking to educators who book me for coaching to support them as educators. I'm speaking to coaches. I'm speaking to student athletes on that platform.
Yep.
And I
This is
talk
good.
directly to them. And so I schedule it from the actual post.
Yep.
And then I also schedule my newsletters and pictures and videos and things like that. And so I focus
Boom.
on that every Sunday.
There it is. So
Yep.
that's just she just boiled her whole system down of how she's done it
That's it.
consistently week in and week out. And a lot of times, guys, when you're sitting around and you guys know I love the strangers things, you could be watching this still while you're laying on
Yeah.
the couch and doing this on your phone. Right? Because you're
Hmm.
doing right, you're different places. You're probably not always sitting in your office, I
Right.
would imagine.
Right. Absolutely. I'm at different places, and we live in a day and time where you have your laptop, you have your phone, and you can literally run a business
Yeah. And
from
most
wherever you are.
and if you're around executives, I'm around coaches, executives all the
Okay.
time, they're mostly on their phone. Most people
Hmm.
are running it. So that's why we tried to give you these tools. Google Calendar's free. You can download it off the Google, whatever it's called. I'm sorry to anybody that has those, or Apple, the App Store. I'm kidding. Well, here's the reality.
It's
Everybody
okay.
has one person who has a Samsung
Everyone,
and it messes up.
everyone.
I shouldn't say this, but I have a family member. It's gonna keep it real, who they are in our chats and we can't add or delete people and it breaks out whole new threads. It's just it's woo,
Absolutely. Every time I have a one family member too, and he knows who he is.
yeah.
My
I'm
uncle.
not gonna call anybody out because I don't want to cause any
My
problems.
uncle.
But
My uncle.
so guys in the chat, what's your biggest block with content right now? Is it time? Is it confidence? No ideas? Drop it in the comments. All right, so we're
Mm,
going to talk about turning content into collabs, NIL, and partnership playbook. All right, so it's not about getting deals, right? I think that's one of the big misconceptions. It's all about alignment. Brands
mm,
want stories, not stats. So sell your mission, not your merch. One of the
mm,
biggest things that you guys can do is storytell. Like for us, we really even haven't posted about like for example like this shirt. I'm all if you guys notice whenever I'm on here, you can go and you could buy it. But one of the big things that we did is coming up with the name is really just
mm,
for my journey. Brand&Athlete was like I really think that everybody's a brand first and athlete second.
mm.
And it can change. It could be a brand and a real estate agent,
Right.
brand and a life coach,
So good.
brand and a content creator. Because I think what happens, the reason why I share this is think of ourselves as our story, if you want to use another word, better. And though, so that's why I love this because what you'll find for many of you guys is we kind of bringing this all to a close. I mean, we have one more. We're going to do a rapid fire session here. But one of the biggest things is people say, Jay, how should I talk about it? You know,
Mm,
I'm a real estate agent. I'm a life coach, but I also like basketball, like women's basketball, WNBA. I love the NFL, I like this, and this. But should I start different counts? And I say, no, life is made of commas, not periods. So it's yes and. So brand and athlete and that's the genesis behind
okay.
it. And I think it's true. So if I were a real estate agent, I wouldn't just talk about the school district and the house and do tours. What I would do is become a storyteller about the communities. I would
Right.
go and I would cover the high school football, the basketball team, the scholars. Oh my gosh, you know, you guys have a CTE or a technical part of the school. Oh my gosh, the local kids. JD just went to state and they
So
had a robotics deal, right? Like, because guys, how many times can we look at a pizza? Okay, I need everybody to hear this. If you're running a business, we get it. We know what a steak looks like.
we do.
We know what a salad looks like. You can't tell. What else? What else can you tell us? Become a part of your community, like we are talking. So if you're on a college campus, your feed should reflect the community that you're in. So that's
Wow.
commas.
Wow.
That's how you create a brand, because most people that you know aren't just one thing. Why
Mm,
it's so hard to follow a real estate agent, for example. I hate to pick on them, or accountant, because all they talk about is houses. And you're like, yeah, I get it. I got it. But here's the other thing. What if I'm not in the market for a house right now? Oh,
mm,
but I didn't know. Oh my gosh, the local high school just made the playoffs. That's awesome.
mm,
Like, you become your you start a podcast, talk about the things around you.
mm.
And it
That's
doesn't
so
matter if you're a student athlete. It doesn't matter if you are a real estate agent. And I'm gonna give you guys Beyond the Struggle. This is a podcast. We had them, friends of the show. Shout out to them. They're awesome. You guys can go follow them. Every Monday they drop an episode, and they are coached by Mike Mouse Holloway. Shout out, arguably one of the greatest track and field coaches of all time, the winningest
mm,
NCAA coaches. He's won more NCAA titles than anybody in any sport ever. I'm not a Florida guy. I'm just telling you greatness when it's in front of you. Um,
absolutely.
I think they won their 13th national championship
Yeah.
last year. These ladies run for him, and it's about the struggle. They talk about their faith. They talk about
Mm,
their crisis of faith, the struggles that they've had as athletes and in life. And then here's the thing. So to bring this all home, their show is interviewing other Gator athletes, literally in their home. Guys, go follow them. Beyond the Struggle. And that's their content. I love it. It is a great show. And I love it because on Mondays, I know I'm going to get some inspiration. And I love it because they always want the thing, and I should probably tell them this. The thing that I love about their show is they actually remind me who I'm serving.
mm,
The daily struggles, the hopes, the dreams, the aspirations. Because when they're talking, you may see All-American, fill in the blank, rifle team, tennis, golf. You know, they've got so many
so
champions.
true.
But when you listen to them talk, they're people, their
Mm,
stories, their journey. So that's what I say. So here's two things I'm gonna tell you as we wrap.
okay.
Turning it, we're gonna talk about getting deals, because this is what I mean by brands don't want stories. So if you
Mm,
tell other people's stories, tell your stories. Right tonight,
mm,
I mean, helping tell her story, the journey she's on. She just talked about how she just ran it up to 20,000 on LinkedIn. So if you don't go follow her and you don't know what to do, just go follow her and look at her strategy and figure out what she's
mhm,
doing, and then copy it. And then once you understand it, develop your own voice. That's what all great artists have done in the history of the world. Most
mm,
great artists who are self-taught, most of everybody are autodidacts or self-taught. They usually find someone they like, and
mhm.
they copy it and they mirror. And at first it does look like it, but then
Right.
over time they develop their own voice, style, and cadence. And that's what
Mm,
I invite you to do, so that you have your
mm,
own authentic voice, and make sure that your feed reflects people who speak life into you,
mm,
who are where you want to be. That's what
mhm.
your feed should be. So if your feed is fight videos, well, that's why you're not where you want to be.
Show me your feed, show me your explore page, and we can see a lot about you.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
if you don't like your feed, you can fix it in like an hour. Just go search the videos that you like and the content, like and comment. And the algorithm's going to say, you know what? Jay
That's
likes
what you
boating videos in Lake of the Ozarks where I grew up. Shout out Lake of the Ozarks.
uh
You know what I'm saying? Some of us dreaming about retirement. And you know, people sleeping on the boats. I'm over here making podcasts. But all kidding aside, and you know, I follow people. I really do. I'm just gonna give you guys. I follow a guy named Brandon. I think it's gross. And he has
Brandon Brooks.
he's just a regular guy. He was actually installing cameras and videos in people's homes. He's worked for a company. You can find him on YouTube, and he finds boats, which is what I'm working on now. And he started living. He was living in vans. He documented it, right? And then he ended up creating content. He's a full-time content creator. So when I turn on my TV, I have a TV right here. I have TV in every room, like most of you guys. And I turn on my YouTube. He's inspiring me. That, you know, that's the people you should follow across all your platforms.
Wow.
Follow the thing that you want to do.
And because you just said that, I just went to subscribe as you were talking. I was just like,
See
all
what I'm
right.
talking about? He's got
It's so easy. I was just like,
500,000 followers. And he started from zero. He doesn't have a media background. He did install. He literally goes and finds boats for like $7,000 to $15,000 off of Facebook. And he drove it from Ohio to Florida. And my behind is watching it at 2:00 in the morning.
you over here like, ooh.
But I got dreams. I got hopes.
You got dreams. We're gonna get.
Going
You
out
heard it
again
here
Saturday.
first.
And I've gone out every week this year, every week this summer on the boat. So I say that because I just like to be authentic and just talk about
Absolutely.
it because, and you know, if you follow those folks, they're going to share with you their journey, how much money they're making, what tools they're using. They're going to say, oh gosh, like what's that camera you have that you don't use? The 360 one.
The Insta 360.
That's what he shoots the show on.
Wow.
So some of us are sitting on content gold mines over there.
Yeah, we keep it real over here.
No, I mean this. Here's what I'm saying. I'm kidding, but I'm totally serious, y'all.
No,
Shooting it
serious,
on a $400 camera. I think that's about what it cost. And he edits on a MacBook. I'm just saying this because I have a MacBook Pro right here, and you have an AC3 or you have a 360 Insta.
Mm-hmm.
See how palpable, how close that is.
Mm-hmm.
What's your takeaway? Because I know I go off. I get going, y'all. I get fired up about this. She gonna be tired of me.
No, I wanna. That last thing you said about the technology and what that young man has done. When you are sharing your mindset, when you are sharing your motivation, your mission, your materials are the last thing that people are thinking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the student athlete who gets that will stand the test of time no matter if the materials change, because mission oriented action is what human beings will always be attracted to.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna, yeah, this is a political individual, but Martin Luther King did not have an iPhone.
Right.
He had a mission.
Yeah.
Mother Teresa didn't have. And I go here, y'all know, Jay always says this is like ebony and ivory, or like the fire. What do you say? Fire and you say fire and brimstone. Like soft. It's you get both. All of the people who we're still reading about today.
Yeah.
It wasn't about the materials that got the message out. It was the mission of the message that has stood the test of time. So athletes, NIL era not being invisible.
Yeah.
It's not the materials. It's your mindset and your mission and the habits that Jay is teaching you, and the habits and the perspectives that I'm sharing as well.
Yeah, go follow. Another guy that I love is just completely outside of athletics is Ryan Tomey. I've started following him. He's another guy. He literally was working a job. I think he made 60 to 80,000 roughly. He disclosed it on his channel, and he basically bought like one of those kind of like those Sprint kind of vans. It's not technically a Sprint. He took it, worked his job, spent his nights and weekends building it out. And I'm gonna pause you where I'm going with this.
Right.
Go build a great life. Go dream of something big and document it. So what he did is he worked his job, bought the van while he was at home. I think he ended up moving at home. Some of you guys, again, caring about what other people think,
Caring about
right?
what
If
you
you have
think.
to have the apartment that everybody wants in downtown, and you got to have the car that everybody wants. You might not have the money, but I'm not. Everybody make their own decisions.
We love
That
you.
said, he went and bought it, and then he as well ended up documenting his story. So I've been following for a long time. He gets so big at one point, he goes on Dr. Phil's show. Okay, he puts out a weekly episode. He literally, his whole thing is he has I'm literally pulling up right now. This is Van Life Gaming and Campsite Overnight in the Hottest Place on Earth. That's a great title, by the way. Again, you want to learn how to get good. How do we write thumbnails, titles, descriptions? Just consume it every day. That's a killer title. Video has 97,000 views. It was only out 2 days ago. So he
Wow.
literally cooks everywhere he goes. He goes to Walmart. He takes you in. He goes in and travels. And so here's the thing. You don't have to have the money he's having, but what are the things that you already like that you're doing? Do you like fishing? Do you like hunting? Do you like clothes? Talk about that. Document it. He goes on Dr. Phil's show. I ended up finding out about Brandon Gross because they did a crossover. So crossover, so you guys don't know, is go collaborate with other people. Like Krissica and I are I love collaborations. So I
Right.
found them because Brandon had a boat in Pittsburgh, downtown. If you guys ever been to Pittsburgh, they have the baseball, the football stadium, everything. So he goes there and his boat is parked outside. Ryan drives to Pittsburgh, stays on the boat with them. They go do the van life, hang out together. And that's how I found Brandon, was just through, again, the content. So
Yeah.
I say a lot of this, guys, a lot of this is just consuming rather than, I would say, consume the content that you actually like, not just what your
Mm,
FYP is giving you.
that's so good. That's so good.
Because
That's
some of
so
y'all are over here, nothing wrong with politics. Don't get me wrong. Whatever the topic is that you like. But one of the things I'm going to tell you, and I've done some work for politicians back in the day when I was building websites back a long time ago, back when my web design development days, is one of the things you're going to find is that politicians, regardless of what um, party you follow, are highly focused individuals, and they're
mm,
focused on their lives.
mm.
And guess what? If you ever go meet with them, you go visit with them, you have a meeting with them, their kids are probably going to be right here or right here. Go look at Jerry Jones. He literally bought that business so he can work with his kids. I'm just telling you.
I love it.
So anyway, I know I'm off on a tangent,
No, this
but
is good. This is good.
to bring us back home, what are your thoughts before I wrap on that? What do you think about? Are there people that you follow? The reason why I share this, Chris, because I know you're like,
Mm,
why is Jay talking about this? Because the
mm,
way that you get good is consuming the content on the interest that you generally have. And if you don't know what you like, go try new stuff.
mm. I follow Brand&Athlete. I am consuming the content of Brand&Athlete. I would say number one, because I was not someone who set out to be in the NIL space. I was actually just talking about things that I thought were interesting,
Sure.
and I had some perspectives to offer.
Mm,
And so I'll stay on this topic here. I'm consuming the content of Brand&Athlete because even though I have a certain perspective, there are so many things I still need to learn and want to learn. And so I would number one say Brand&Athlete. I would also say my husband consumes his content as well, but I'm consuming
shout out
more
to your husband,
content
by the way.
around around Eric Thomas and his team and CJ.
Yeah.
Because
Mm,
I, as an educator, as someone who wants to be a better leader and someone who wants to have a healthy perspective on business and service, and the intersection of those two as well as brand, those two individuals have given me a healthy perspective and a strong perspective. So I would say Brand&Athlete and the work that Eric Thomas has been doing and his partner CJ has been doing for years. And so I would say those top two. And because I'm a person of faith, I consume faith content as well.
that's
But I
perfect.
would say, those two platforms,
No,
Jay Hicks
and I
and Eric
appreciate.
Thomas.
And we just try to amplify one of the great things, just bringing it kind of as we bring it home. I love athlete stories. And that's one of the things we do. We do a podcast, but we also are giving a platform to people. Like I'm gonna give a shout out to Bailey Miner, 16-time Texas state champion, and we had her on her epic run. She comes on around March. And so, we're talking about her journey. What does this mean? She goes to the the New Balance Indoor Nationals, right? Which is the best of the best of the best of the best. The gear is fly. You fly out to Boston. She goes on a run. Goes win state five Texas titles, sets 5 records, becomes the most decorated uh, athlete in track and field history, state in terms of state championships. So we had documented. She told her own story. I took a video of her, and I said, "If your senior year was a book, what would the title be?" She says it, and she talks about finishing out. Da, da, da. So in the talking to her, I'm texting her dad. She said her uncle, shout out to her uncle, takes photos. Sent me some photos. I took that clip that we did back in March, put it on top, laid. It all works out. I mean, those of you guys know me, I love that song. I'll get on that in a second. And I love it because I love the song because that song, if you follow on TikTok, it's all about, this journey that he was on, and it's really about, moving forward, fighting through things. That's why, even if you don't know what the song's about, that's why most people like it. So I lay that underneath and I tell her story. And I even got it kind of brought feelings on me. I was so proud of her. She told her story in her own voice. And that's so powerful. And she'll be on the 40. University of Texas. She got to be down there, probably moving in about 3 weeks from now. So that's one of the things we do. We try to amplify stories, help people live out their dreams, and then we're just documenting in full sight. That's why I share the tools that we're using. We collab with you. Say, hey, what are you using? How did you get to 20K? Tell me about that. How did you fight through the fear, the doubt, the naysayers, the people say this about you? How did it all work out?
Yeah, yeah. Jay, this is one of the reasons why I offer that strategy call and why I speak boldly about what the strategy call is about. Because it's not our young people, our student athletes, and some of us who are at a certain level in our careers and in our businesses and brands. It's not because we don't have the content. It's not because we're too busy. It's deeper than that. Because
Right.
it was deeper for that for me, and it's been deeper for that for many of the student athletes
Sure.
and professionals at our quote unquote our level, whether it's age or stage. It's been much deeper than that. I was hesitant. You're maybe hesitant to show up online because you haven't figured out what part of yourself you're willing to share. You're overthinking the post, or maybe you're afraid of being seen and still misunderstood. Like that young lady that you're talking about, she wasn't afraid of being seen, wasn't afraid of being misunderstood. Or maybe you don't feel, this is what I see a lot, Jay. We don't always feel like we've earned the right to speak yet either. And I bring the perspective of let's not force you to post anything yet. Let's talk about how you can uncover the real reason why you're holding back. Some of us, we do need to get to the root. Some student athletes that are listening right now, they're ready to take in every single tool and tip and strategy that you shared. And then some, we need to get to the root a little bit to
Right.
talk about what is your story, what is your background, what are your fears, what are your patterns, and we build from that truth next to what the algorithm will do. Because once you understand who you are and why your voice matters, posting becomes natural, your brand becomes natural and personal, and you stop hiding from the platform that you were built to stand on. So that young lady was in a position to stop hiding. And then there are some of us that are saying, I'm afraid because I don't like what and how and who I look like. And some of us may be at that point. And so I would love to, help you all with that in connection with what Jay is teaching us in this moment. And it's okay to have some grace with yourself. And it's okay to think about this, not just for how can you maximize this school year, but how can I think about this over the next 30 to 40 years of my life and that be a part of the journey and the mindset.
Yeah, and I love that. You just as we kind of bring this all to a close, you're right. It always starts with mindset. And make sure you guys are following people, myself, Kriska, other people who give you the motivation that you need, right? Like I believe that motivation is a lot like bathing. You need to do it every
Mm, mm.
and so for me, like,
Every day.
just full transparency, like I have a positive affirmation and like wake up literally every day,
So good.
saying to myself that the world is working in my behalf.
Mm,
And I think
mm,
the things that we say, the things we consume, it's why I'm telling you guys, if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling self-doubt, I would do an inventory of what I'm consuming
mm,
and who I'm around.
mm.
Because I tell people all the time,
Yeah.
I got to a point where I had said, I'm not here to solve everybody's problem. I'm not
Mm.
Don't call me with every problem. And if you call me with the problem, I'm going to give you one call to talk about the problem, and then the next one we got to get to a solution.
Wow. So
Because
good.
what I found from talking to a lot of people and from lived experiences, sometimes it's the people in
Right.
our lives who are bringing us the drama. It might be your mother, it could be your father, your
Mhm.
sibling, and that's hard. So you have
Mhm.
to
It's hard.
learn is to how to advocate for yourself, how to have healthy boundaries, right, and work through that. And that's part of also being an adult if you're a student athlete. And there's
Right.
adults that don't have it figured out at 55. Mama's driving
Oh,
them.
no. You're so right, Jay. When you were doing that mirror work, it's like that mirroring and you
Mhm.
looking at yourself and speaking over yourself. Did you learn that from someone? Did someone teach you that? Where did you learn that
For
that
me,
morning routine?
well, that goes back to my childhood. So remember I
Mm,
was saying about the books that I read. I
mm,
found that people who are positive. I read a book, it was called Norman Vincent Peale, The
yeah.
Power of Positive Thought. And once I understood that the unlock, which helped me become, came through. I went to a school without a physical track as a private school,
Mm,
and ended up becoming state champion. All time, greats in terms of 10 fastest times ever
wow.
is I learned that a lot of it is the difference between good to great is in
Mm,
between your ears.
mm,
That's the biggest thing, and once you understand that, that's why I tell people all the time. Again, there's so many things. Like for example, somebody who if I were somebody, I love Derek Jeter. Believe it or not, I love Derek
mm,
Jeter on TikTok. This guy, another person I would follow, even though he doesn't have a challenge, I go follow Kobe Bryant. I don't care who you
mm,
are, what you're doing. The Mamba mentality, like make sure you're consuming positive things. Like I have a playlist
mm.
that wakes me up in the morning that has certain things that I need. So that's what I would highly recommend. So that's how I developed it. So I started that
Wow.
early. I started reading. I read Norman Vincent Peale. I think I was in the fifth grade.
Right.
And so, but that's what
Mm,
worked for me. I think everybody has to find out what works for them. And
mm.
so, again, I would say, who are around? What are we consuming?
So good.
So that includes your music you're listening to.
Mm,
Especially a lot of our young people. I love Rod Wave, but if you listen to Rod Wave, I love Rod
mm.
Wave. But if you
We
go,
love you, brother.
what I say is I don't necessarily listen to them that often, but I'm gonna tell you what
Right.
really woke me up to this. I put some of the songs in the AI and asked AI to do a lyrical breakdown of some of the artists that
Wow.
a lot of young people listen to because work with young people. And I put some of SZA's. I love SZA. You guys
Mm.
can tell me nothing about SZA. Broken the Clock.
We love you, Cesar.
But what we have to do is understand what we're consuming,
Right.
right? Because a lot of life is frequency and energy. And
Mm,
so if you go through and you put them in, you're like, oh my gosh, there's a lot of some dark undertones to the music. And this is what a lot of younger people, some people are listening to. I don't want to generalize. Uh,
right. Right.
so that's what I would say. I would say
Mm,
that's the big unlock for a lot of people because
that's so good.
it's hard to drink poison all day
Mm,
and come out as a champion.
y'all,
And
y'all listening?
go look at any city, living in New York, how many people are on headphones? I don't know what people are listening to though.
You don't know.
Some people are listening to podcasts. Some people are,
Mm,
you know what I mean? There's tons of great stuff out there. I would just say, because I'm not one to tell what people to do. I just try to share my journey, what's worked for
right.
me, is to
Mm,
find the things that feed you.
right. What is your nutrition, not just with your food, but who's nurturing you? What are you eating?
Yeah.
And music, you are eating with music. You are eating
Yeah.
when you are around people, and what is that nutritional content of those
Yep.
individuals and that music. So thank you, Jay, for that
Yeah.
reminder. I hope y'all are listening. I know you are. I know you are. Just
And
do
then,
it. Just do an assessment of your nutrition and not
yeah.
just what's on your plate.
And that's
But
everybody's. And again, there's so many different ways to do it. I'm definitely not saying
yes,
what
sir.
people should or shouldn't do. I think it's
Yes,
just
sir.
something to denote. And I think the other thing too, we've given you today is systems, right? Like,
Yeah.
what things do you have that are free, that are readily available to you,
Hmm.
right? Like you talked about, the LinkedIn app, which is free.
Hmm.
Google Calendars, you talked about. I
Right.
use Canva, and I'm on Pro now, but I started out and I was like, oh my gosh, you can pay a little bit more and they'll take the same
Right.
graphic and resize it for you. So I haven't
Right.
created a whole or dragging it onto another platforms. And it's really
Right.
built for speed. What systems do you have? Google Sheets, free for most
Hmm.
people with an email. And then the
Hmm.
support. I would say the biggest things, and please chime in as I'm going along,
Okay.
because I just be talking. Uh, is make sure you build community. So go follow
Yeah.
myself. Go follow. I mean, I would tell you guys, if you want to be connected, Krissica is one of the best at this. Go comment on people's comments,
Hmm.
DM them. I'm just gonna tell you guys straight up. I love LinkedIn. I
Same.
contact people, I reach out to people. I know Kriska, you do as well,
Mhm.
and just connect with people. It's the
Yes.
greatest tool in the history of the world. If you think about it, universities used to be so powerful. The reason why they're struggling now is a university used to be lived by the level of its library. I remember when I
Mm.
went to Ohio State, I think they had like 31 libraries, right? I went
Wow.
there on a visit, met the great Bob Hayes on my visit.
Wow.
And one of the things that you notice, that's what separated the elite
Mhm.
universities was their library, right? But your
Mhm.
local, like my mom went to HBCU, Florida A&M, and your
Mhm.
junior colleges, I'm not comparing, I'm just giving different levels.
Right, right,
These
right.
two may not have what a Harvard had, or may not have what some of the really good Eastern schools, or even the Big Ten, which is Big Ten is
Right,
historically great schools.
right.
Today, you've got digital media. You've got this thing called YouTube University. You've got the greatest tool in the history of the world called this thing called Google. So Jay, like,
Right.
hey, how do I schedule things? I don't know. Go ask Google. You've got AI to help you come up with content ideas.
Y'all take advantage of this. I listen, when I when I was a younger person, I'm 34. I don't mind sharing my age. 34 years young. Looking back on it, my elders and those even at my age would tell me, Krissica, you you will not always have this college experience in
Right.
this way. And then they would say, your 20s are for you to build. Your 30s are for this, your 40, and they're giving me this wisdom. And I heard them say once, there's a bought lesson and a taught lesson. Some lessons you gotta buy, you gotta spend a lot of money to get. And then in some lessons you will learn with experience. But whatever the lesson is, if an elder, always, of course, pray about it or meditate about it or whatever your process is. You don't just take people's word and do everything that everyone says. Always think critically about it. But we're telling you to maximize this opportunity. All of the tools that we're talking to you about, all the resources, all the tips, everything that Jay is saying, everything that I'm saying, really think critically about it and maximize this opportunity. Because I don't know about you, Jay, but if I had an opportunity, if the creator said, do you want to go back to college and just do it one more time? I would say yes, because I know better now on this other side
I
what
know that's
I
right.
did not take advantage of. And so, y'all, we're giving you things that we wish we knew. We're giving you things that we're learning so that you can be, light years ahead of us, but not just in competition with being better or stronger than anyone, but to just steward, take care of, manage this opportunity and get everything you have out of it, because that institution will get everything out of you that they can. Do the same thing.
Yep. No, I love that. That is so great. And so here's, guys, Brand Athlete is your hub for everything. And, it's powered by Hicks Sports Entertainment. This is our second ever PDF that we've developed, and we're going to develop more content, the more conversations that you guys have. Slide into the DMs. What other questions and content would you like us to cover? Who would you like to have on? Do you have somebody you think's pretty good? Would you like to cover?
Yes.
So the play is 13 content plays to get seen by brands. You can find it at brand&athlete.com
Mm.
/13 plays. And you guys make sure you're pulling up to Krissica. Like, I'm trying to tell you, if you want to be good, like just go study game. Go study game. Y'all got some people, you got time for everything, but
You
where
got,
you trying to go? I'm
you got time for everything else. No.
well, because what happens is I found with sometimes when people aren't achieving, well, a lot of times what people want and what they're doing are not tied together, so they're misaligned. And so I would say go do an inventory of your time, your energy, who's around you. Make sure you're following us. We're going to give you the motivation. I share stories like Krissica. She's, right, like had this dream and is now a content creator. She's working on her PhD. She's coaching up people. You have an opportunity to connect. So, I'm really excited, about what you're doing and then continuing to work together. As we're on this new series, the NIL Crash Series, how to survive and dominate, y'all, in 2025. Krissica's coming back. This ain't it. This is the beginning.
Y'all, we're giving you both. We're giving you so many different angles to this deal. We're not just thinking of one angle. We're really thinking about you holistically.
Yeah.
And some folks, Jay, I'll go on record to say this. Some folks, Jay, are just talking to you about how to connect with Nike.
Right.
Brand&Athlete, we're thinking about your legacy.
Yeah.
We're not just connecting with Nike. Like, that's great. That's all.
Yeah.
But Nike has a certain quota and a certain amount of
Yeah.
people that they're going to work with. But that doesn't mean that you don't have value in
Yeah.
the marketplace and on this earth. And so we're thinking about all of you all. We're thinking about your family. We're thinking about what you're majoring in. We're thinking about if you don't quite want to create content at a particular level, we can support you too at whatever level that you want to be at that maximizes who you are here on earth. We can help you do that. So get those points, get that PDF, and book that call with me because we're here to support you and your family in your purpose.
Yeah, make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube. We actually have a playlist. It's already built. It's gonna be the 9th series. So if you can't make them, we're archiving them. You can follow the content. We're gonna have some really cool people on. And if you notice, every time that I bring someone on, it's always someone who's in the trenches, because what I found is, like Krissica, she can talk to you about LinkedIn. She can talk to you about content creating. She can talk about being a student athlete because she's done and doing those things. And those are the people that we bring on, whether it's you or Jack Adler or Connor Prince, like literally the GOAT of NIL, 200 plus deals. We had, people like Beyond the Struggle podcast, right? We've had some OGs on here. And so we're going to cover things like technology, systems, legal. What if you're at a small school, right? What if, how do you become an influencer? Like once you're there. So we're going to cover all these things. I'm really excited. The next thing up, full transparency, 2 things. Krissica and I need to meet tomorrow to go over all this content we're going to have and how to get it out so it doesn't die on the line. And 2, just share with her the rest of the 9 and just figuring out how we work together and continue to storytell. So I'm really excited. I hope people go follow you because you're on LinkedIn.
Yes, sir.
Twitter.
Yes. All the platforms, every platform that's out there.
Instagram.
It's
Do
at
you have
Krissica
Facebook
Harper.
page?
I do, at Krissica Harper. And I'm actually, y'all, I've monetized my Facebook. I don't, we don't have time for this, but I want to just go ahead and add this because we don't talk about Facebook a lot, especially the young folks. Y'all think it's for old people. Y'all, I made $872 last month from Facebook.
Wow. I love that.
I mean, I'm not at 6 figures. I'm not doing,
No, that's a
numbers at a
car
certain
payment.
level.
Like car payment insurance for a lot of people. I'm just trying to talk in real terms.
And let me go ahead and say this. The 872, they were from the monetizing the profile, but let me go a little deeper. That's why I don't talk too much about follower count, and Jay doesn't either. Here's why. Because a video turned into a mother DMing me, and the mother DMing me turned into a coaching call that she paid for for herself and her daughter.
See what
So
I'm
we talk,
saying?
so it's that was one person from a video, y'all.
Yep.
The video had like 100 views, but the parents saw the video and then DM'd me.
Thank
So y'all, we're not just talking about
you. Yeah.
people can say what they want. And I don't have 6 figures worth of followers, but what I do have is the ability to pay a bill every single month
100%.
from social media and
Yeah.
me just sharing my story. And so,
You know what?
yeah,
You just inspired me. I think one of the after this series, we're gonna do one about how the DMs is where the action is happening. I
yes,
booked a lot of you and I met just
yes, sir.
reaching out to people.
Yes, sir.
So I think this is a great one. I love it. I love, she
Good
just
segue.
there's already got the $1 million a game podcast, but she just give you $1 million for the game. I love that.
Thank you, Jay.
Yeah, no, you're the best. And so let's talk about this. You could do the coaching session. How can
Yes.
people qualify?
Yes. You qualify by doing 2 things: following Brand&Athlete. I want you to also qualify by you know what, Jay? I'm gonna tell them. I didn't know if I want to do this.
Okay, go ahead and
Screen
do it.
screenshot me the sent email to that dean, VP, president, secretary of whatever executive leader. It could be a director and above. You know what? Coordinator and above. I'm going to go coordinator because that is a level of professionalism,
Sure.
and that person can give you some wisdom. Coordinator above, say, Miss Harper, I reached out before school even started just to set up a meeting.
Yeah.
And that's how you qualify. And emailing me, telling me, okay, I want to do this call with you. So following Brand&Athlete,
I love it.
screenshotting me the proof that
Yeah.
you reached out so that you can step into an opportunity on your campus.
All
That's
right.
that's the qualification, Jay.
Okay, as we wrap here, what's been the biggest surprise out of this live stream for you?
The biggest surprise, okay, before we went live, y'all, I have been on a podcast before. I have been on platforms before, but I am always very sensitive to making sure that I am representing s- someone else's platform to the best of my ability. And so I am not necessarily nervous, but I want to honor Jay. I want to honor Brand&Athlete. I want to show up appropriately. And so it's not necessarily a surprise, but that's what came to my heart was that it wasn't as uncomfortable that I kind of thought it would be because I'm like, oh, I want to be respectful. I want to be honoring and I want to show up well
Yeah.
to this audience and to this space for Jay, for Brand&Athlete, but also for the space. And so surprisingly, it was really fun. It was really great. But I
Yeah.
want to show that vulnerability because I love what I do. I'm confident in what I do. I know the creator has called me to this, but I also am very sensitive to platforms and spaces
Yeah.
so that I can represent well. Mhm.
Well, you crushed it. You came through. You shared a lot of. I really hope people. We're gonna chop a lot of this up. Follow us. We're gonna share this out. So we did cover a lot, but we're gonna
Yes.
hit the high points here, guys. So make sure that you guys are following that. And I really appreciate you coming through and just share because a lot of times, like I try to really bring on people that are gonna come in and talk about the things, what's working well, and some people gatekeep, and you share your knowledge freely. So I really appreciate you coming through with your vulnerability, sharing your story about, how you've gotten where you are. And I think that a lot of people identify with you and your story and your journey. So I
Mhm.
think that's
Thank you,
amazing.
Jay. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Jay.
Yeah.
Jay's giving me some tips. He was coaching me before, and I'm going to continue to be better. I'm a point guard, so I don't mind going over to the sideline and listening to my coach whisper in my
Nah,
ear. So I know I'm going to
we,
get better.
we all coach each other up, man. We're iron sharpens iron.
Yes, sir.
All right, before we get out of here, I always ask everyone, like, what is their motivation? Like, if you have someone who hears a message, what's the
Mhm.
thing that's on your heart, your mind, your spirit today that you'd say to someone who's working towards something? It's your
You,
motivation.
mhm. You were not born on accident, that you were purposed to be here. It is very difficult. This world is difficult to navigate. But I want to tell you that it is no accident that you are who you are, and it will require you to continue to grow and develop into who you are called to be. That is hard, that is difficult, and there are going to be some days where you don't think you can. But be reminded that you have something to offer to the world, not only because they need it, but because you need it. You need what you will offer. You need it first. And at the end of your life, if you're a faith-based person, I want to take two angles. If you're a faith-based person, you know what I mean by this when I say at the end of your life, you want to get that well done, my good and faithful servant. If you are someone of another faith perspective or another perspective, I also want to be bold and say at the end of your life, you want to say, it was hard. I didn't think I could do it, but I'm glad I said yes. I'm glad I said yes to my best self. I'm glad I said yes because it was worth it for me. And I see that it was worth it for the people who have been transformed because of my yes. That's what I want to take.
I love that.
Mhm.
That's a bar. That's a bar. That's
It's
a
a
bar. I
honor.
love it. I love it. I love it. That really inspired me listening to you.
Mhm.
And I think one of the things I love that what you're talking about is just people and their wholeness and their vulnerabilities and just being who
Mhm.
they are in the moment. So I love
Yeah.
that. And I
Yeah.
appreciate you sharing that.
Thank
Um,
you, Jay. What about you, Jay? Are you gonna share? What
yeah,
what
I
what do you
would
want
say
to share?
I would just really, tell anyone who's hearing this is to really lean in to who you are
Yeah.
and to not pay attention to what other people think with their
Mhm.
opinions of you because they really don't matter. And I would say really lean into your own personal DNA. Like, who are
Mhm.
you? What do you like? And what is it you strive to do? And I would
Mhm.
say do that and really pursue it
Mhm.
and then take that and that's your legacy. Share it to other people, inspire other people. Um, but I would say very much leaning into who you are. And I think people who lean into their authenticity are going to win.
Mhm. Mhm.
So
Wow.
that's my
Oof.
motivation.
Y'all, I'll cry in a minute. I'm not ashamed of crying. Okay. That's
Don't
the
do it.
problem. That's the
Don't
problem.
do it.
See, everybody needs to cry. And once you get it out, you're gonna post that video the next day because
Uh,
you gonna be there released it. No.
oh, that's so good. That's
Thank
so
you,
good.
Jay.
Well, this is our longest. This is a couple of firsts tonight. Longest podcast I've ever done live stream, and we're gonna have a ton of content. This is what I was trying to tell you guys. We just got on. We did have a structure and a framework that we talked about, really to help put you guys on. Like, what are the things that the two of us have? How can we share it? And then now we're gonna have content out of this, so we
Okay.
have to meet after like tomorrow. Um,
Okay.
I'll send you a note offline.
Okay.
But and then the other thing, for at least for myself, that I'll share is really, I'm excited about this new series. Our first time we've ever done a series where, like,
Okay.
I've watched other people say, like, take the people I talked about, Brandon Gross. He's on a deal where he trailered up his boat and he's going to all these lakes around the country, which is crazy because I had
Right.
the idea and then he did it. I was like, oh my God, this is great.
Right.
So, but my idea for Brand&Athlete really is to really not just talk about these things, but really give people the tools, give people examples that are relatable, and bring people and amplify their stories like yourself that they can follow, meet,
Mm.
right? Like Krissica, someone you reach out and she's gonna reach back to you. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? And that's what I'm really excited about, and really just helping people live out their legacy.
Wow. I love that. Oh, yeah, 9 points, 9 part series.
9 parts. Let's go. Let's go.
Nine
And
parts.
we
Like y'all
started
thought
off.
this was
We're gonna have more free resources. This is one of the things for this year. I'm just gonna tell it to her July, so we're a little over halfway through. And one of
okay.
my things for this year, man. So for you guys looking up at the calendar, man, you had goals back in December. It's okay. You still got time. I want to
Yeah.
write more, publish more. But so this is the first. We're gonna have more resources for you guys, and we're just gonna keep sharing. And I'm really excited. I'm excited about this journey, and I'm excited to share it with you guys. And hopefully, we build this community and we support each other and help student athletes help each other get to wherever it is we want to go.
Yeah, I love that, Jay. I love that. I'm so proud of you, and Brand Athlete, and this is going to be a documentary. Our journey, there will be a documentary. It's going to be a documentary
And
about
we're
what
using this
happened
thing.
in this era.
We're
We're using
already telling our
using this
story.
film.
I love it. I love it. Well, Chris,
Thank you,
for
Jay.
this guy, I just want to thank you again
Yeah.
for coming on, for being vulnerable, and look forward to talking to you tomorrow, because
Yes.
this is just
Yes.
the beginning of many things,
Yes.
guys. And I also just want to thank you for answering, replying, for being a great partner,
Yeah.
on this journey, man. Like, she's probably tired of me. I be sending her strategy docs and
I love it,
emails,
y'all.
and she's probably like, oh, not another
I'm
meeting.
not. I am not doing that.
I'm not big
I'm
on
like,
meetings, but
yeah,
I'm
I
big
love
on
it.
like boom, 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 getting stuff done. And you're a great partner to work with. So I think
Thank you.
one of the things I think about you and I think about as a journey is I tell everybody, go find good partners, go find people to create content with and do cool projects with. So thank you for being you.
Well, I want to do something real time. Jay, you want me to stay on for a minute, or am I logging completely off?
What? What? What are we talking about?
You want me to stay on after, or you want me
Yeah.
to
Oh
get out
yeah.
of it?
Because this one has to be. Yeah.
Okay.
So
That was
well,
real time.
so stay on afterwards. But hey, everybody, I'm actually let's the both of us again. Any final words before we end the stream? Make sure people pull up
Mm,
to you.
yeah, y'all reach out. We're here to help. Don't be afraid. Don't It's okay. We're here to help. We're taking all levels, all thoughts, all frames of speaking and how you are navigating this. We're taking it all. We're ready for it all. Nothing is too big, nothing is too small. We're here to support you.
I love it. I love it. All right, guys. Thanks to everybody who pulled up. We appreciate you. I'm Jay Hicks for Brand&Athlete, powered by Hicks Sports Entertainment. And we're just going to keep amplifying stories, keep supporting content creators. We're going to support student athletes and build our own legacies together. So thanks again.
Good night, y'all.
See ya.